Hey, everybody.
Damn, that intro spooky, Jenny. Got the train running over me and everything.
That's kind of my brand,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
I
can't help but, like, whatever. If I do it, it's going to end up spooky whether I want it to or not. So,
right.
You know, that's just how that happens.
Looks like everybody's here. They're all starting to pile in right now.
Danny Rowling said, since David Warner just passed away. Yeah, I think we didn't mention that, but yeah, he just died recently.
Yeah.
You guys should totally review the 1987 Hansel and Gretel with David Warner by Canon. Just a suggestion.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
that. You know what? I don't even know if I've ever seen that. It sounds kind of familiar, though. David Warner was in like a million zillion movies.
What I always remember
What's
him
up, Dave? Hey.
Yeah, what I always
you going to Mannequins later, probably?
Is The Island and Tron.
And Time After Time. That was where he played Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Tom has already told me he was at the biker bar earlier.
I was at the Oasis, yeah.
Midnight at the Oasis.
Yeah, I had 3 drinks and then they bought me 2 more.
Uh-oh. So he already said when he got back, because he only just got back at like 5:30, and he said he's going to be a handful. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, what else is new?
Yeah, I was fucking talking to a fucking dude from the 101st. He's a little bit older than me. He was a black dude from the fucking 101st, and he bought me fucking a free chocolate salty balls. He says, I want you to put my chocolate salty balls in your mouth. I said, okay, go ahead. And he bought chocolate. If you guys never had chocolate salty balls, it's a good shot. Real good. It's got a salt ring around it. And it's kind of like a chocolatey caramel. I don't know what it is in there.
You probably don't want to know.
No, it's just straight shit.
I'm just gonna let me use my imagination.
Okay, it's kind of like some kind of cookie flavor actually.
It's like an oatmeal cookie shot.
Kind of like an oatmeal cookie shot,
which is probably one of my favorite shots ever. I know that's like
probably
that's probably the girliest thing I've ever said, but oatmeal cookie shots are delicious. Almost as good as lemon drops. Or I don't know. I think maybe oatmeal cookie shots.
David Parker's in the house. What's up, Dave?
Yeah, I already said that.
Okay.
Then he's going to Mannequins probably.
Okay.
Although I think maybe not. Which I don't know. We were thinking about going to Barbarella tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll see.
But we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how the money is.
I'm kind of broke dick.
Yeah. I got money. I got credit.
Well,
but, you know,
which is kind of like pretend money.
It's like pretend money. I pay for the shit. Fucking,
that's what I mean. It's not fair.
Right.
It's so not fair.
We had big expenses this month. Had to buy that fucking $3,000 fucking lawnmower.
Well, at least we didn't have to pay for it all at once. I mean, you know. And you did go out there. Now, did you utilize? Here's the big question.
Utilize.
Why is that funny?
You didn't see? Remember in Idiocracy, utilize meant fuck. Oh, you utilize.
Oh, that's right. I don't remember that.
I would laugh.
I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah. The dude from our dimension for our time would say utilize a lot, and they'd start laughing. Oh, utilize. Yeah, utilize.
Well, wasn't it a running gag that like pretty much every word meant fuck in that?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Half of the words meant fuck.
Then they all were like Beavis and Buttheading about it.
Yeah, utilize.
Yeah. So now that you like went off on your Beavis and Butthead rant, I totally forgot what I was talking about.
It doesn't matter.
No, I was gonna say that you know, when did you use the cup holder?
Yeah.
On there.
No, fuck no. I was serious that first time.
He was serious the first time.
Thing. I got on there, man. I fucking put my hat on and everything. Fucking put my hat on. Fucking. I even took my shirt off halfway through it to get some sun to let everybody know I was fucking serious about mowing. I was fucking. Yeah, because I watch how these other dudes around here do it, and they get serious about it too. But. People were waving at me while I was fucking mowing. That's right. You know, the dudes are saying, "Yeah, that's right."
It's a whole little weird subculture.
It's a suburban, well, it's not really suburban, semi-rural culture about who's mowing whose lawn, and are you mowing your own lawn with your own mower, or are you hiring dudes to come in and mow? I'm mowing my own, so I'm now in a club. So dudes fucking drive by and they're waving and saluting and shit. Fucking, that's right. Fucking yeah. Next time I will have a damn drink.
Have a cocktail.
Yeah. But you see, the thing is, I'm thinking it's a bad idea. Because half the time I was in a dust cloud.
Well, yeah.
Or in a cloud of fucking.
You'll be drinking.
Yeah.
Airborne dirt.
Airborne dirt and airborne.
It's good for your immune system.
Yeah, airborne grass clippings. Because grass clippings were blowing.
Give it a little
everywhere.
bit of flavor.
Yeah. Now, if I stay on top of it and don't let it grow and just run, you know what I mean, and just keep it low, that might be the way, it might be the way to do it. We'll see.
I'm gonna make you a T-shirt that has a riding lawnmower with a little cartoon you sitting on it, like holding up a cocktail, and then it'll be like Tom's Serious Mowing Club.
Yeah.
Like around the perimeter of the artwork.
Yeah. But I was riding it around and fantasizing about the YouTube videos that I saw of the dude going down the ramp and ramping. And ramping over his pool.
This is gonna end badly.
Well, his friends were watching.
This is gonna end badly.
And he doesn't make the jump. It's kind of like Evel Knievel not making the Snake Canyon River jump. Yeah.
I'm just saying right now, you drink some cocktails out on that shit, and then you go into that like kind of ditch over there in the corner, and the shit falls on you, and you're out there pinned, and you're like waving your little arms around and stuff. Don't be calling me for help, because I told you.
I'm like that dude. I'm like that dude out of.
Help.
I'm like that dude out of fucking. I Shouldn't Be Alive. Where
that's what I was just thinking of.
His 4-wheeler.
He wasn't drunk though. He was actually, and the shitty thing about that was that not only was he pinned under the 4-wheeler, but he lived like in this real remote, like in fucking Alaska or some shit, or Canada or something like that. Yeah. And he had lived up there for a long time, so he was like, lived off the land. And he was going out to like check on some shit, and it just so happened that he hit like a stick or some shit like that, and the 4-wheeler tipped over and fell on him.
Yeah, he couldn't get up underneath
and crushed his legs.
It was a 4-wheeler loaded with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, because he was going out like on a hunting trip or something.
Yeah. And he wasn't a strong guy. He was a little spindly guy. He just couldn't get it off of him.
Yeah, well, I mean...
And he was pinned for fucking almost a week underneath that damn thing.
4 days, it was like days. And he couldn't get to like any water or food, and then there was wolves. Yeah, wolves trying to eat his face off, and it was a bad situation. But he did get through it. They eventually found him. Somebody found him. Yeah, somebody found him. I mean, like he's lucky that they did, because nobody came there. Like they even said, like nobody came. And he was within sight of a house. Remember that? He could see a house. He could hear fucking dogs barking and hear people. Yeah, so he kept like yelling, but they couldn't. He was trying to yell. He was trying to flash him with. He had some kind of flashlight, I think. Did he try to flash? Yeah, he had a few things that he could reach. He could reach it, yeah. But because it was all loaded up. Too late. Yeah, but I mean, he obviously he lived. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on that show. Because he lost his leg though. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, because it was completely crushed, and it was completely crushed for several days. So it had gone like completely. It went gangrene. He didn't have any circulation in it. Which is why y'all bitches need to work out. Be as strong as you can. I don't know if I could have gotten out from underneath it, but I probably could have. It was 400-something pounds. No, it was way heavier than that. It was 400 pounds, wasn't it? No, it was more like a couple thousand pounds. Was it that much? Okay. Yeah, it was like super, super heavy. I thought it was heavier. I didn't think it was that heavy. Yeah, it was like real heavy. Like it was so heavy, because I remember them, I don't remember exactly how much it weighed, but I remember them like saying how much it weighed, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't think anybody, like even some big muscle man, could have pushed it off him. I'd have cut my own fucking leg off to try to get underneath that. Some people have done that too. Yeah. Well, then that one guy that was like, he was mountain climbing, I think, and then he fell in like a fucking rock fell in his arm. I want to say, and he eventually like cut his own arm off. I'm like, that's hardcore, yeah. Yeah. Murder Hornet Return says, forgot the old country singer in Nashville, but he got a DUI on his lawnmower. Yeah. Was he on the road? I imagine he was probably on the road. Oh, I got Murder Hornet in there? Yeah. Okay. All right. I was going to tell him something. The shirts came in. I'm just waiting on the dye. Yeah, the blank shirts came today, but the dye's not coming until Tuesday. Yeah, so Tuesday the dye will be because it's in fucking Wisconsin. So I won't be able to probably mail it out minimum Wednesday. Because I gotta make them, and then the next day they gotta fucking be mailed out. Yeah, I gotta do the postage and all that. Next Dimension Media. Hey, Jenny and Tom, just finished watching your hardcore review. That was a lot of fun to do. I really like that movie. Don't know if it's true or not, but I heard Richard Pryor pulled a gun on Paul Schrader when he was directing Blue Collar. I had not heard that. But, would surprise me. I mean, the thing about... Pryor was fucking cool. Hell yeah, he'd pull a gun on somebody. Yeah. Well, I don't know how cool that is. That's very cool. That's very cool. It depends, because if Pryor pulled a gun out on you, fucking you deserved it. Or you said something about his mom. Something like that. Yeah. Danny Rawlings is talking about Waxwork is a good David Warner film. Yeah, I like that one as well. I've seen that one a couple times, actually. Right. Actually, I'm amazed that we haven't covered that one. Yeah. Some of the coolest motherfuckers on this planet have pulled guns out on people, including Elvis.
They tried to take that damn fucking those drugs from him, and he pulled that fucking cutout on his friend.
And he also shot my medicine. He also shot a TV,
shooting the television.
So there's that.
Whenever they talk shit about him on TV, he'd reach over and grab his fucking 1911-45 and fucking blast.
I'm like, you're not shooting the actual person. That's just the TV.
It's just very southern and very macho, and it's like, I'll get a new TV. Bring a new TV in here.
Well, that's what I mean. Elvis could afford a new TV.
He could afford TVs, yeah.
Zach says
he knew what he was doing. He was ex-military. He knew what he was doing.
Zach said, I don't think I've seen a director with such an up and down career as Paul Schrader. Some of his films are masterpieces and others are total crap. Yeah, I always kind of wonder about that. You know? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It seems like there's, I don't know. There's some directors that seem like all of their shit's really good, and then some directors that all of their stuff really sucks, but then there's some that are like, some of their shit's like super, super brilliant, and the rest of it is just like terrible, and I'm not really sure like why that is.
Yeah.
Not really sure why that is. Waxwork, the sequel, is good too. I don't know if I've ever seen the sequel. I've seen the first one like 2 or 3 times probably, but wait, is that the same? No, that was House of Wax that had Paris. Was it Paris Hilton? What the fuck is that chick's name? Didn't Paris Hilton get killed in that?
Which one?
In the House of Wax remake?
I didn't see the House of Remax.
The House of Remax.
I didn't see the House. I didn't see the House of Wax remake. Didn't see it.
I think I remember just watching it because I was like, "Oh, I heard Paris Hilton gets killed like, in a horrible way."
Paris
so I watched
was cute
it.
though. She was cute for a flat-chested chick. She's all right.
You're pretty cute for a flat-chested chick.
You're cute for a flat-chested chick.
That's nice.
That's how I'm rolling.
Okay, that's like you are gonna be a handful. I can tell because you haven't even started like drinking. Well, I mean, you haven't started drinking on here.
On here, right? Yeah.
You've been drinking, and then well, because he came in with his big, fucking ridiculous Jethro jar. He comes in with that, and then he's like, "Ooh, I made this like way too strong." And then he's like, "I already had like a bunch of drinks at the Oasis.
I had 4.
Yeah, well, that's not that many. I mean,
tequilas
comparatively.
Yeah, and a shot.
But
maybe 2 shots. Let's see. They were.
But you were there for several hours, so it's not like you just got there and like pounded the shit down. It was like over several hours.
No, Paris Hilton was cute. She was just skinny and flat. Just gotta say, skinny and flat.
Danny Rowling said Paris Hilton died giving head in House of Wax to a steel pole. Yeah, I just remember her having like a really, a steel pole at the back of her head. That's right. I remember her having kind of a memorable death. But, so there's that. Look at you, you get all looking all pensive.
Yeah, I was just sitting there thinking about Paris Hilton. Going like, I hadn't seen her in a while. She's probably, she'd be a lot older now.
Well, yeah, everyone would.
Yeah, I wonder what she looks like.
That's how time works.
I wonder what she looks like now. Maybe she put some weight on her.
I literally had not thought of her until I thought of Waxwork, and then I thought of House of Wax, and then I thought of her being in the House of Wax remake. That's why I thought of her. But other than that, I haven't thought of her for years.
If you don't live here in the U.S., you'd know that she isn't a thing anymore. She was a thing back then, but she's not a thing. Haven't even fucking seen her.
Murder Hornet Return says, wasn't Octomom in a low-budget horror? Yes.
She was also in a porn flick.
It was called... what was it called? I saw it. Like, I didn't see it on purpose, like, because Octomom was in it. I just happened to... Because what I used to do sometimes when Hulu was free, like when it had free content, they had like a whole bunch of like shitty like B horror movies. Yeah. So sometimes when I was bored, like on weekends, I would just like put on horror movies at random. And that was one of the ones that I saw. What the fuck was it called? Delivery, like Devil's Child or something like that. It was like a Satan baby thing.
Yeah.
And it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Octomom was just a fucking another thing, Just that was back when there was a fucking mass media.
Every time they say Octomom, I always think of like a woman with tentacles.
Yeah,
that's probably just me.
But she did a porn. She did a porn scene too.
Did she have tentacles in that? Was it hentai? How funny would that have been?
I don't know.
If Octomom would have done some hentai.
She did a porn scene too, but she didn't really do much in it, from what I remember. It's been a long time since I've seen it. She was cute, but like big fucking deal,
I don't remember what she looked like. I do remember seeing her in that movie and thinking, I didn't even realize it was Octomom until later because I don't really follow that kind of stuff. Like because I was writing something about it later. And I was just kind of like, oh, that's that chick. Yeah, I kind of vaguely remember that. I was like, wow, she was like annoying as shit in that movie. So I wonder if she's like that in real life.
The Octomom porn movie was definitely a ripoff. It was just, they were just trying to sell you something because you were curious. She doesn't really do much anything. I mean, had it been me directing this shit, she'd been doing stunts. And like, yeah, 8 come out, 8 are going in. I would have fucking said some kind of fucking crazy shit like that. And like made some stunts to see what would, insertion stunts, measuring her up, see how big she is, that type of shit.
It would have been cooler if you'd have gone like surrealist with it, where you could have just had like a big huge vagina with like some like I don't know, circus dwarves like running in there,
just fucking
or something like that.
Dudes running out of.
I wrote a story a long time ago where somebody like in virtual reality, but they actually like drove their car inside a giant vagina. Yeah. So there was that. Yeah. But. And one of the books that I reviewed recently, Womb, which is actually like really good. If you're not like squeamish about body horror or like extreme horror, it's actually really good. That one, like a dude, he wants to insert his entire head into a woman's vagina, and he does.
Actually, there was an old
demonetized.
Well, you said.
Oh well.
There was a.
It's just a body part.
Yeah. There was back in the old internet gore gallery. They had all kinds of fucking crazy ass photographs from fucking crime scenes, the serial killer. They had Jeffrey Dahmer photographs of fucking the photographs he took.
I remember that.
And one of them was a photograph of a dude with his head inside of a woman like that. But you read the comments, people thought it might have been fake. You know what I mean? It was early Photoshop days. There's no way of knowing if it was real.
Well, I mean, if I saw it, I'm not going to go looking for it, but if I saw it, I could probably tell. If
she was a big woman, but I don't think you could put your head in a woman like that.
Well, even in the context of the story, like the book that I read, that which was fiction, obviously. Yeah. But even before that, like throughout the course of because it's like a frame story, they were telling stories back and forth, like they got grosser and grosser as it went along. But he like the whole time was like stretching her out. Yeah. You know what I mean? And she was actually kind of known. She was a sex worker, and she was kind of known for having like a cavernous.
You wrote this shit?
No, I read that. Okay. The one I wrote was, like I said, was like about a virtual reality thing where a guy would like fantasize about driving into someone's vagina.
There was a fucking joke that I remember from a kid, where a dude's going down on some chick and fucking he spits it out like that. It's a set of keys. And fucking, he's like, "What the fuck is that?" You know what I mean? Just,
there's those. I've been looking for those.
You know what I mean? And fucking another dude fucking goes, "Oh, great, fucking, I haven't been able to get this car out of here forever." And he runs in there to go get the car. Been looking for those. And he drives his car out. It's fucking awesome. It's ridiculous. I don't remember exactly how the fucking. I didn't tell the joke right.
Yeah, obviously.
That was like
it didn't make any sense at all.
That was like when I was fucking 13 or 14. Yeah. Finds the keys and another dude goes, "Oh, that's to my car," and he fucking jumps in there and drives the car out. I don't remember how that went.
Well, it's a vagina. That's why they call it nature's garage.
Right, yeah, just garage.
They don't. I just made that up. That's what I'm going to call it from now on, though.
Nature's garage.
Well, I always used to call it nature's purse. It is nature's purse. Yeah. Because you can, put all kind of things in there if you need to.
Yeah.
But, I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. Where are those contact lenses? Oh, yeah, that's right. I put them in nature's purse. Zach says there's a new movie about Marilyn Monroe coming out, starring Ana de Armas, of all people, but it actually looks amazing and really surreal. And I said Ana de Armas is like awesome. So she's the one that you know who she is. She was in Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, okay.
Her. Yeah. And she was in Knives Out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was in fucking.
And she was in one of the James Bond movies. Yeah.
She's cute. She's gonna play Marilyn Monroe.
I guess.
Marilyn Monroe wasn't that cute.
Well, they always make you cuter when they have the movie. This is the same thing that happens on A Haunting, man. You see, the real people.
Right.
And then it's like, ooh, they have, some hot, some hot actress.
Yeah.
Or considerably better looking actress.
Monroe was cute in the context of her time. it was a different scene back then, Hollywood, and I don't know. Standards, I guess, were different. I don't know. It depends on who was fucking who. But I never really saw much. I guess seen pictures of old Marilyn Monroe, and there's just nothing to her, really. Not by today's standards. She's okay, but she's not mind blowing,
Well, the thing about Marilyn Monroe that I think people liked was not so much just like still pictures of her, but like when she was in movies, like moving around and stuff. Yeah. And because sometimes that goes a long way toward.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when you just see like pictures.
Yeah, I guess it's you have to have the cultural context, because it's even her just moving around, like there's not much to her. Just a woman. Good looking woman, but shit.
Tom is not impressed.
No. Fuck no. Women got really good looking in the fucking 60s and 70s.
It was like fake eyelashes and all that kind of stuff came along.
I don't care. They just fucking look super good. Shit. Elizabeth Montgomery was fucking badass. Fucking bunch of them were. They were good looking women. Just, I don't want to say they were a dime a dozen. It's just that on television. Remember what was her name? Barbie Benton. She was fucking good looking.
Back then they didn't put Uggos on TV.
No,
you know what I mean. Well, they still don't to a large extent, but you know what I mean.
Girl who played fucking I Dream of Jeannie from fucking I Dream of Jeannie. What was her name again? Fucking what was her name?
I can't remember.
You guys remember who I'm talking about?
Zach is telling the joke. Guy goes in a vagina. Guy, Dad, is that you? Is that where you disappeared to when I was a kid? Yeah. And then Murder Hornet turns says, first guy used a ladder and found another guy in there and lost his ladder. The other guy said, if you help me find my keys, we can drive out.
Yeah. That's that shit, right? Yeah, so,
you know that joke.
Help me find my keys, we'll drive out. Right.
Yeah. Danny Rolling said, what
Barbara Eden, that's right. Barbara Eden. Yeah, Barbara Eden was probably one of the best looking women of all times. She was looking great. Yeah.
What do we think of the new Munsters trailer? I'm not sure how to feel about it.
I didn't see it.
It looks cheesy as fuck. But then again, the original show was kind of cheesy as fuck, and that's what a lot of people like about it. So in a way, I'm kind of like ambivalent, because I'm like, well, since it was Rob Zombie, I like expected him to like, ooh, I'm gonna like edge it up or something. But he's like a huge Munsters fan, so maybe he wanted to capture more of the original spirit of the show, which is cool. But I'm not really sure how that's gonna translate. I don't know. I'm kind of like interested to see it, because I was like watching it and I'm just like, I don't know. I can't tell if this is gonna be the best thing ever or the most awful thing ever. I couldn't tell. Andy Reaver Rockefeller said, are you guys doing a review on the new Elvis movie? Very curious to hear your thoughts. I loved it.
Yeah.
It might still be playing. No, if it's not, then we will probably have to wait for it for streaming. We still pay for that stupid fucking movie theater thing. It's like, why don't we ever go?
We never seem to have time. You're always working and
I mean, I got lots of movies that I wanted to see. Has anybody seen Nope? Because I kind of wanted to see that.
Evidently it wasn't any good.
I don't know. I've heard. Well, I didn't really want to like watch any reviews, so you know what I mean, because it looked cool.
It evidently bombed.
Well, that doesn't mean it wasn't good.
Okay.
You know what I mean? A lot of movies bombed that are still good.
Most movies I think are bombing right now, but and we didn't get to see fucking Top Gun 2 either.
Yeah, I thought you were like all jazzed to see that.
But we don't ever get around to going anywhere. You know, she blames me, but she's the one that's working all the time.
I'm not working on Thursdays or Saturdays, though.
We're working all the time.
Like, usually I have time to do that. Because I've told you before we could, like, go somewhere. Where
the theater's far now.
Well, yeah, that's another thing.
You know, it's far now. Might have to kill that one. But you only have to go once or twice a week, and it makes it worth it.
Once or twice a month?
Once or twice a month, I mean, yeah. And it makes it worth it.
But yeah, because it's only like $20-something for a whole month, and you can see 3 movies. I mean, technically, you can see 3 movies a week if you want to.
Yeah, and evidently most people don't.
Yeah, so. But like you said, you only see like 2 or 3 movies a month.
Yeah,
and it pays for itself because one ticket. Well, and if you go to like the Dolby Theater, like one ticket is like what, $14, some shit like that.
Yeah, so you paid for it.
Is it $12, $14, something like that?
It's expensive.
And you also get perks, like you get free popcorn and shit on your birthday, and every time you go, you get points, and then you get $5 coupons. So a lot of times you get like you can get candy for free, or you can get drinks for like 50 cents or something like that.
She's talking about AMC Stubs.
Well, it's AMC Stubs A-list.
A-list, yeah. You're an A-lister. You pay every month, and then you just go watch 3 movies a week. I mean, if I was living right next to a theater, and I would, which we kind of used to, but if I was right next to a theater in AMC, I'd fucking definitely get that. You can go down there and see movies as they come out. And I'd only see the Dolby ones. The fucking Dolby Theater's badass.
Yeah.
Just that a lot of them are junk. I mean, when we first got that app, we went down there religiously 3 times a week, and you could burn out on movies.
Well, because we were doing a show. So a lot of times we were seeing movies that we wouldn't have gone to see otherwise.
Yeah, and some of them things are bad. They end up being real samey and kind of like, okay. And then ones that you wouldn't think you would like turned out to be the better ones. Like a lot of the animated ones were better than live action. Some of the stuff that was damn near documentaries were good. Like that one about the fucking Pray the Gay Away religious movie. That was fucking pretty good.
I liked that too.
Yeah. And then the one about the old white dude living in the fucking house, and the fucking black couple fucking moves in. He tries to steal the fucking woman. That shit fucking. It was like a Lifetime movie, but I still liked it.
That was like campy and cheesy as fuck.
Yeah,
but I was like super into it. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was pretty much exactly like a Lifetime movie, but just like with a slightly higher budget. But that was kind of what I liked about it. I'm like, oh my god, this is cheesy as fuck, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Dude, pop out and fucking look at the black girl.
With his big,
Yeah, you like that? She's.
What the fuck was the name of that thing?
I don't forgot.
I think it had like a generic. It was just what was it called? The Intruder or the
Intruder?
I think or something like that. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
And it had like what the fuck was the name of the dude that's in it? God damn it. I can't remember anybody's name today.
Yeah.
I'm getting mad cow. Like all timers.
And I forgot the name of that dude who played the creepy old white dude.
That's what I was just trying to remember.
Fuck,
God damn it! What the fuck? He's famous.
He's famous, yeah.
Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid. I knew.
Dennis Quaid was fucking chewing up a scenery.
He had like his smile was like in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, like the original like Boris Karloff cartoon, where his little smile goes like that. It was like that, and I was just kind of like that's awesome.
And I think the movie was mostly made for a black audience. I think, fucking, you had a black couple with fucking hot fucking black chick as the wife, and this fucking creepy old white dude. I'm gonna steal your woman.
Who wouldn't leave?
Who just wouldn't fucking leave. He's going after this fucking.
Well, it was they bought the house from him. Like it was, and at first they were just kind of like
his house. Yeah.
Yeah, it was his house, but like he sold it to them, and then like he wouldn't leave.
Stayed. Yeah, he was living.
Oh, I just thought I'd be nice and come here and mow your lawn, and they're like, "Great, that's nice. Will you please like go away?"
He actually lived in an underground
Christ.
bunker. He had secret passages up into the house, and he was lusting over the damn wife.
Yeah,
it was fucking weird as shit. But I liked it. I
did too.
I liked it. It was entertaining. I was laughing through the whole thing.
Which I'm sure it was like kind of supposed to be scary, but it was actually like hilarious. No. Like it was, It
wasn't scary to me. I
didn't think it was scary.
I thought it was
if you're in a situation like that in real life would be scary, but it's like in the movie not so much.
Yeah.
Just the way it was portrayed was like not all that scary.
The dude's trying to get rid of this fucking Dennis Quaid old white dude. You know what I mean? He's trying to get rid. He's trying to be polite to him at the same time. They're a professional couple. He's like, hey man, fucking, you sold the house to us. You don't have to come and mow the lawn. And he said, no, it's okay. And he just can't get rid of this dude.
Yeah.
And little does he know, the dude's living underneath the fucking ground.
Yeah.
Lusting over his wife. And I forgot who the fucking actress was that played the wife, but.
Yeah, she was in some other movies.
Yeah, too, she had fucking really nice legs, and they kept fucking showing her and shit, fucking then Quaid's looking and licking his fucking lips and shit.
Why did you just did a thing like Hannibal Lecter?
That's what he did, right? He was doing Hannibal Lecter stuff and looking at her and shit.
And I'm like, ew.
And then he was giving him sob stories about.
And he was like old enough to be her grandpa.
Yeah, probably. Dennis Quaid was pretty old. He's in his 60s, I think.
Or at least her dad.
Yeah. She was probably 30s, mid-30s maybe.
Yeah. Grody.
Yeah.
Fucking old dudes.
Yeah, it was awesome. And he's trying to protect his wife and shit from this old dude.
Yeah.
But it never really comes to blows until the very end. He can't prove anything because the guy's fucking.
Well, see, that's
around.
the bitch of like all
that
those
was what the whole movie was. Is that
that's kind of like
it.
yeah. It's well, it's just kind of like that's what a lot of those Lifetime movies are like too. Because a lot of times that's what's scary about it. Because if you could just like call the cops and the cops come and take the person away, then the movie's over.
Yeah.
So it's like they always have to be like some super genius that knows exactly like the letter of the law, so they can like skirt around everything. So there's like never anything that you can do about it.
Do anything, yeah.
And it's like, well, I can't shoot him in the face because then I'll get in trouble, and then you know what I mean. So it's just like this whole thing. So, you know what I mean? It's drama. That's conflict. Funny. But yeah, that was like very funny. Yeah. That was very funny. But I'm
gonna find out what movie that was.
I think it was called Intruder or The Intruder. Am I crazy? Is that what it was called? I remember it having like kind of a generic name, but yeah.
I think it was. We'll find it.
But
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah. And it was 2 years ago, maybe. 2019, I want to say. I thought it was 2019, maybe 2018. I can't really remember. Yeah, they're talking about
The Intruder.
Yeah, so I got it. I'm not as stupid as I thought.
All right, cast on The Intruder: Dennis Quaid, Michael Early, Megan Good was her name. Megan Good. Yeah. Okay.
Wasn't the guy that was in it, wasn't he in the Jacob's Ladder reboot, I want to say?
Maybe.
Which I didn't love. I mean, it's kind of hard to top the original Jacob's Ladder, I'm going to say. But they did reboot it. I didn't even know they rebooted it, like, did a remake, and then I was just like, it was free one day, so I was like, what the fuck? And I watched it, and I was like, it was alright. It wasn't terrible. Nothing to write home about, you know. Yeah, they're talking about the Monsters thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I want to pay to watch it, but
yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Let's see if he does the fucking face where he's licking
face.
Yeah, where he's licking his lips and shit like Hannibal Lecter. And then he could, here I am.
I mean, he's still looking pretty good in that, even though he's old as shit and obviously old enough to be her dad.
Yeah,
like, big time. But
but that's the house, and he was living underneath the ground, and he had no intention of leaving. And so he starts seeing all this shit going down, and he gets fucking infatuated with the wife. He's mowing the lawn and shit. He won't go anywhere. Hell yeah. I thought that was a fucking great movie. And it was just a low budget bullshit movie that I remembered after all this time. It was at least memorable.
Well, yeah, because it went like so over the top and like so almost campy, I would say. Like it went campy. But like I said, if you're going to do that, at least make it stand out.
And I thought the acting was good. I thought the movie was kind of punching up, but most people were like, it's just the same old shit. But I liked it. I don't give a shit what they said.
Now, I was going to say if Dennis Quaid wasn't in it, it might not have been quite as good.
No,
it would have just been like, like good, but just like all the other ones.
Yeah, he made that movie.
But he just like went way over the top with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was good.
Danny Rowling said, that sounds a lot like the 1989 Gary Busey film, Hider in the House. That's right, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Man, can you imagine what if we have Gary Busey in our house right now?
Yeah, and motherfuckers hide, watching.
With his big fucking horse teeth.
He's beating down on you. You're having sex and he's over there watching, beating down on you. Gary Busey. His fucking mouth and shit. Damn.
Wouldn't it be creepy if like you woke up in the middle, like you heard something and then like you're going down the hall to the bathroom or something like that and you see these big white teeth glowing in the darkness. Then he's over there standing in the corner. Speaking of which, do you know what woke me up this morning? I mean, it's always something. Because I can't just fucking sleep. Because my stupid body won't let me sleep. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning because I heard this frantic, really, really loud scratching. And the first thing I thought was that I bet Pookie got locked in one of the closets. Because she likes to go in the bedroom closet. We try not to let her go in there because she'll like tear up Tom's shoes. But a lot of times she'll kind of stand by the door and be like, please, 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 let me go in there. And then like sometimes if you forget, like she'll go in there and then she'll curl up way in the back corner and then she'll fall asleep and then you close the door because you forget she's in there. So I thought that that's what it was.
Zach sent that to us.
Yeah, I know. I saw
that. That is Marilyn Monroe. Yeah. And I really just don't think there's anything to her. It's just, she's not ugly. She's just a average girl. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, so I hear all this scratching, and it was like really, really loud. It woke me up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I thought Pookie was like stuck in a closet somewhere. And I came out, I was like, "What the fuck is that noise? Oh my god!" And then I looked downstairs because like you come out the bedroom and like you can look down the down the staircase like into where the front door is, and she comes tear-assing out of the laundry room where the litter box is. And then just come tearing up the stairs. Boom, 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 boom. She was in that fucking litter box going like so loud that it was waking me up from like all the way downstairs. And I was like, Pookie, I thought you were trapped in a closet. You were making so much noise. But she was just in the damn litter box making as much noise as possible.
Lion Warrior says that if you got Gary Busey in your house, make sure you got plenty of Columbia product. Yeah, probably right. Yeah. Gary Busey be snorting your house up. He's snorting the whole house up.
Maybe that's what you'd find him doing. Like in the middle of the night, he'd just be like down on the carpet, just like sucking up all the cat hair and whatever. Danny Rolling said, and the Steven Weber 2013 film Crawl Space, aka the remake of Hydra in the House. Well, that's not a remake of Crawl Space, the one with Klaus Kinski. Why are there so many movies called Crawl Space? Steven Weber was the same guy that was in the TV version of The Shining, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because he was on wings. They've made so many movies about a guy secretly lives in your house, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because that would be pretty scary. Because have you seen like those videos where, people like somebody like live in a cabinet and then like when you went to work they'd climb out and like eat your shit out of your fridge and stuff?
That was actually happening.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it does happen.
We got to do a show about that.
Maybe we should. That would be. I mean, some of those videos might be fake, but I think it has actually happened like several times.
They had one where some little black woman was living in somebody's fucking closet up on the top and coming out and eating their shit, fucking while they were at work, and then she'd go back up in there and live. And evidently she did it for like over a year.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Be a trip.
We should go check the attic.
You go check the attic.
I mean, something
like that happened in Japan too.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Right.
I wrote down people who live in other people's cabinets.
Yeah.
I'll know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, people. So I'm gonna show this off. I got a Canon Studios design right here. That is the original Canon logo that Jenny fucking stole from the internet, and I got that thing on a damn screen, and I can make any kind of shirt you want, any size, sleeveless or with sleeves. For a $20 super chat, I will send you one of these Canon shirts, and we'll get your address and fucking send it to you later. Probably gonna be until when's the die coming?
Tuesday, they said.
Tuesday. So I'll probably be able to send it out Wednesday. Just drop a $20 super chat, and I'll send you a fucking Canon shirt. Okay, back to the show. Got to do a commercial break.
Zach says, also, I listened to your old episodes about Scientology, and now I'm addicted to Chris Shelton's podcast.
Yeah, Chris,
I can't stop listening. I blame you guys.
I've talked to Shelton.
Yeah.
Shelton, he's very much in the box. I talked to him back in the days, just about eight years ago. As soon as he left the cult, I thought about doing a show with him, but he's too nerdy. And
what's the matter with being nerdy?
Well, because no matter what, he's still a Scientologist, no matter what. And he judges you as if you are a Scientologist. He saw all the goth stuff, and he's like, oh, wow. He just thought that was another cult, you know.
Oh, he's one of those, huh?
Yeah, he's one of those, yeah. It's just like having very much kind of like having a fundamentalist Christian around. But he is...
No, thanks.
Yeah, it's just, Sheldon got into that shit because he was big into Star Wars, and he thought Scientology was a path into learning the fucking Force. And no. Prince, there's a guy named Prince, I forgot his first name. He helped run Scientology. He was like one of the fucking highest ranking Scientologists, and he was the only black Scientologist. He's right underneath L. Ron Hubbard when it came to fucking testing. He was one of the chief auditor. Kind of like Scientology's version of a Grand Inquisitor. He joined Scientology because he had a fucking spontaneous out-of-body experience like I had. And he thought that he joined the cult because he thought Scientology could teach him how to do that again through astral projection. But as he got deeper into it, he realized that no, it's the exact opposite of what you need to learn how to astrally project.
They'll astrally project all your money out of your wallet.
They'll astrally project that money out of your damn pocket.
That's pretty much all they'll do.
That's what it's about.
Gonna tell you right
Although
now.
Jesse, his name is Jesse Prince. Jesse Prince did believe in Scientology for most of the time that he was in there. He thought that it could discipline you and get you to get you to learn certain skills. There are some things in Scientology that might be useful, but not a lot. I don't think it's worth what they're paying you, what they're charging you.
Well, I mean, a lot of the shit. I mean, the only shit in there that's useful is shit you can figure out on your own for free. So
yeah. But they have a lot of
pretty much.
They call it the spiritual technology is what they call it, and a lot of that spiritual technology or spiritual tech has been squirreled, as they put it. In other words, bootlegged. It's out there. You can get it for free. Now they would go through exercises and training. But here's the thing. That is not spiritual technology. Most of that shit is what I would call sales technique. Very much like Robert L. Shook's hardball tactics, which is how to convince people and how to get people to sign on a dotted line using very subtle, high-pressure sales techniques. Scientology has a lot of that kind of stuff in it, where it's powers of the mind, but it's not paranormal. It's psychological. You know, the power to persuade, or the power to force someone, or the power to guilt someone into doing something. That's what a lot of it is. But I do have this weird begrudging respect for Scientology. It was made up out of nothing by a guy who didn't know a whole hell of a lot. And he turned that shit into a very powerful cult that could pull people in and make a bunch of money and buy a bunch of property. But that's basically what it is.
I don't know. I don't find anything admirable about somebody that just pulled something out of their butt and like took advantage of people because of it. You know? Well, you're just like taking advantage of people's stupidity and gullibility. That's not cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, but that's what it is.
Well, yeah, I know, but I said that's not cool or admirable. I don't think.
Well, I admire it in the same way that fucking that robot from Alien admired the fucking xenomorph. That it was fucking without any...
That's a good analogy, actually.
Like, that's the way I'm looking at it. That it is a fucking superior creature because it's extremely hostile and it has no delusions of morality. That it just does what it does, you know. And that's what Scientology is. It just does what it does. It's kind of like a cockroach.
I don't like those either.
If you're right, you don't like them, but the motherfuckers can survive a nuclear holocaust.
And I don't admire them either.
And Scientology could probably survive a nuclear holocaust because they're fucking very insular. They have secret bases. They even have a fucking secret base out in the desert with a bunch of fucking underground silo holding all of fucking L. Ron Hubbard's fucking teachings on, what was it, titanium plates inside of fucking
some shit like that. I don't know.
Hermetically sealed plastic containers deep under the earth in the desert under armed guard.
Think about like all the money and expense and time that went into that useless ass shit.
Evidently the guys guarding it have fucking a pretty high suicide rate too. Just
I get it.
You might as well just be in a maximum security prison because that's what it is. It's a maximum security prison out in the middle of the desert.
And you don't even have anybody to talk to.
No, with just some dudes guarding this shit underneath the ground in these vaults. It's fucking bizarre. Creepy.
It is very creepy.
Yeah.
Danny Rowling said there's a new TV show called Hider in My House about different cases of unknown people living in your home.
Damn.
Now, see,
now we gotta know more about that.
Well, shit, I'm gonna have to go... Yeah, I wrote it down over here. Because I'm fascinated by that. Well, like I said... Dude, I mean, there was like, this house isn't that big, but it's just kind of like, I could see somebody living in here and me not know about it. Although I will say that they wouldn't be able, they wouldn't be able to like come out, obviously, because, you know, we're here all the time because, you know, I work at home and Tom is retired. So it's not like we'd leave and they could come out and like use the shower and whatever. I'd be like, hey, who the fuck's using my shower? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't really think they could be living in the closet or, you know, living in the attic or something. I would hear them like immediately. What you were saying before about Chris Shelton and about how he didn't like the goth thing. Yeah. I was watching, there's this channel I watch. It's this goth girl who, and I think I mentioned her before. God damn it, what is her name? I think it's Angela something. But she does like a lot of videos about goth. She's a little bit younger than us, but I think not that much. I think was born in 78 or 79 or something like that. But so she's kind of like she came of age like during the 90s goth, and she was doing a little video about how goths and alternative kids were perceived in the late 80s and early 90s, because she was a teenager around that time. And she showed like a bunch of clips from those terrible like TV, you know, the TV talk shows like fucking Sally Jesse Raphael and Jenny Jones and all that kind of stuff. And I had forgotten like fucking how horrifying those fucking shows were. Like they'd have like some little girl coming out and she's like 14 or some shit, and she's like kind of gothy looking. She comes out and like fucking grown ass adults in the audience are like booing her. Yeah. And talking about it. I'm just like, she's 14. Fuck the fuck off. And it's like, and her mom like allows that to happen. I'm like, oh my god, that is so fucked up.
In defense of the audience,
that girl probably needed some like fucking therapy after
in defense of the audience, though, they probably had a damn fucking sign up there saying boo.
Well, they do. They do. Yeah. And I mean, the stupid
like
thing.
Out of Running Man.
It was just like, and it was just like, I like watching it now, like it was kind of appalling at the time, but like I haven't seen it in a long time, so seeing clips of it nowadays, and I was like brought back a lot. It's like, oh my god, that was so fucked up. And like seeing it now, like with the benefit of hindsight, it's even more horrifying. And I was just like, because like I said, some of these kids were like 13, 14 years old, and you know, they just had like, they didn't even look that weird. They just had like, by today's standards, they just kind of had, you know, some crazy eyeshadow or whatever, and like some big hair or some different color hair. And the thing about it was like, even the ones that were older, like some of them asked him, well, do you have a job? And like some of them had, you know, they had normal ass jobs and they went to school. Like they had one girl on there who kind of looked like a punk rocker. She had like a mohawk and everything. And they said, well, do you have a job? She's like, yeah, I work at a daycare. And everybody was like, oh, everybody had a fucking fit.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can put my hair down and like look kind of normal, like when I'm at work, duh.
Danny Rolling Ghostfest says that he said, I'm going to have to watch that Dennis Quaid intruder film now because that type of horror to me is really scary. Yeah, look, we watched movies for fucking years on IMC, fucking probably 2 years, pretty much fucking solid until it drove us crazy. And that was one of the ones that actually stood out to me. There was other good movies.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of good ones.
Yeah, there was some good. Most of them fucking were bullshit. But that particular movie was a bullshit movie that stood out. I liked it. Because it kind of reminded me of the movies that would stand out in the 80s or the 90s. It kind of reminded me of fucking, you know, Fatal Attraction or...
Yeah, it reminded me very much of those
Cape Fear,
thrillers or like Pacific Heights. Or like, like those movies that came out like in the 90s, like Single White Female. Stuff like, it reminded me of that. Like, but in a good way. Yeah. Like it was a throwback.
Yeah. It's a good movie. And it just came and went and forgotten. Only me and Jenny remember it.
We should do Single White Female on this show one time. I love that movie, actually.
Yeah. Now, John Smith says Scientology is so secret that no one's seen David Miscavige's wife for years. Her name is fucking Shelley.
Yeah.
Shelley Miscavige, but they know where she is. She's up at Rim of the Earth, I think is what it's called, up in the mountains of California. They got her just doing a menial tasks, little bullshit Scientology job, Xeroxing papers and shit, fucking doing people's fucking reports or something, you know. What happened was that she somehow defied fucking David Miscavige. over something, and they got.
She had a thought of her own. Can't have that.
Yeah, well, I think what it is based on fucking everything that say Karen de la Carriere and some of the other ones they said is that she dissented against some stuff that he was doing, and she tried to get him to chill out. And he turned on her and fucking demoted her ass and fucking reassigned her.
Probably all she said, too, was just like, hey, honey, can you be like 5% less of an asshole?
Yeah, maybe. I think there was more to it than that. It was probably, I think, because the way women are, it's probably more
the way women are.
Yeah, it's the way women are. It's probably more along the lines of, you're overstepping this shit. These people are going to turn on you and fucking throw you out of here if you fucking keep acting.
Well, so the way women are is like we call shit like we see it. Like, we see when you're fucking up.
She came at it from a negative point of view. No, that's exactly...
Well, because, I mean, the way that you framed it kind of sounded like you were going to go that way with it.
No, she probably fucking came at him with what the truth was. And
was like, hey, knock that shit off.
No.
Oh, I don't like that.
He was like, how dare you fucking jump up and fucking tell me this shit. You're just an OT5, and I'm an OT9, and I'm the fucking COB of fucking Scientology, and you fucking spoken out of line. And you're not fucking, you know what I mean? And I'm going to have to punish you for fucking being out of line, you know what I mean? Fucking, I'm the one that judges. That's why I'm COB. And then he goes, you're demoted? I'm going to give you a shitty job up there in the fucking mountains, at fucking rim of the earth or whatever it's called. You're going to be up there fucking, it's like a campground up in the fucking Sierra Nevada. I mean, it's beautiful up there.
She might be glad to get away from his ass.
But now it's a gilded cage because you're now up on this fucking fenced-in compound. It's like a ski lodge. It's like a ski lodge is what it looks like. But here's the thing: none of those Scientology outposts or bases is what they call them. None of them have real functions. They're grading papers and doing busy work and lawn care and fucking.
They're probably just in there like making clay figures and making them fight.
Yeah.
I've told that story, haven't I?
Yeah. So she's in prison. She's basically in prison. They're all in prison. Anybody who, and here's the thing. Hold on. For y'all who don't understand Scientology and haven't listened to the long histories of shows that we've had on about it, I've had AGP, the Angry Gay Pope, on here as one of the greatest Scientology fucking protesters of all times. He's fucking funny as shit. Even though that motherfucker wishes I was gay, he keeps fucking calling. He keeps going like, "You need to do this. You need to go on more steroids. You need to do whatever." I post a picture because you're not quite fucking big enough. These gays.
He's fucking with you.
He's fucking anyway. He's like, what happened? I forgot where I was. See, I distract myself, but.
He distracts somebody else and himself.
I distract everybody else and myself.
Well, at least you know how it feels.
Yeah, I distract myself too. I forgot what I was saying.
You got all distracted by muscles.
Yeah.
It's all. You were thinking about being gay, and then you're just like went on a whole fantasia.
Yeah. It's about Scientology and what people don't understand about Scientology. Isn't that what I was talking about? You guys can drop it in the comments.
Something like that.
I've been drinking.
Yeah, obviously.
Scientology is fucking they're fucked up. But there is like an order to it. It's kind of paramilitary in the way that it does stuff. But I forgot what I was getting at.
Mr. 88 said, I listened to your Danny Rolling episode last night in which Tom does an extended Dennis Silence of the Lambs impersonation. It was particularly well done and funny. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and listen to that because I don't remember that. Mr. 88 also says, as I dozed off, I had this mental picture of having a formal dinner with my wife as Tom was just beside the table, but instead of a swanky violin player, he was channeling killers, both real and imagined. Yeah. You should rank yourself out like that.
At least I'm not cutting the top of somebody's head off.
That we know of.
Yeah, looking at their brain and frying that shit up on a pan. Here, you want some? Okay, there you go.
Here, you want me to cut off your penis and like cook it and feed it back to you? Oh, it's so chewy.
Yeah.
Probably should have put it in the crock pot.
Yeah.
Sarah says there's an awesome channel on YouTube called Fundy Fridays. All she does is research and rip on horrible Christian fundamentalists. Ooh, that sounds like fun. That sounds like right up my alley. Because one of my favorite things, I think I brought this up before, but one of my favorite channels is Nick DeRamio, and he does like movie things, but they're usually like shitty like Disney Channel movies, like from the 90s, because that's when he was a kid. But every now and then he does stuff. He has a PureFlix subscription. And so every now and then he does like some really fucked up like PureFlix movie or TV series, and those are the best. Those are like so fucking funny. But yeah, he has a great show too. But yeah, I always like, we've talked about that before, like how bizarre their fucking entertainment is.
Which one?
I didn't even know. I saw a video the other day too about Holy Land Experience.
Yeah, it's gone now. Did you know that?
Yeah, but like I didn't know that it was not open anymore.
Not open anymore. I got the details on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't tell you.
Well, I watched the video, but I don't remember, like, because he did like a 45-minute like deep dive on
Holy Land
of
Experience is like Christian Disneyland, but it was a cheap version of it.
But yeah, like only like a 1% as fun as that sounds.
Yeah, it was well made, but it was kind of small. And you went through. Basically, what it was is they brought churches in. I mean, because the public didn't really care about it. They bring churches in, and they would go and they would watch all these little live action reenactments of things from the Bible, and the Christians liked it. You know, I actually wouldn't mind going to see it back in the day. But the guy that owned it died. Okay, he died. That's why it shut down, and it evidently was kind of slightly in. I think it was in debt. And the guy who owned its wife, she still owns it, but closed it down. They don't have enough operating money to keep the shit running. And she is now kind of like dating and or living with the dude who played Jesus in the fucking
She's banging Jesus.
She's banging Jesus. Because they had like a main Jesus dude who went around and played Jesus.
Yeah, he got like kind of famous. He was like their main Jesus.
Yeah, he was
their personal Jesus.
Yeah, person. And the wife of the widow of the owner.
Was she the big hair woman?
I think she is. Yeah, and she's like hooked up with Jesus, and they don't need the place. They're probably gonna sell that shit off.
I think they already have. I have to remember, because like I said, shit, man, I think it just came up on... Because I subscribe to some other channels, like there's one called, like, what's it called, like Defunct Land, and there's some other ones like that. So it just came up in my recommendations, and I was like, oh, Holy Land, I've been wondering what the fuck was the deal with that. Because we would pass it sometimes, like on I-4, because you could see the signs and everything, and I thought it was still open, but just for like by appointment only, like you could just have like your church group was going there, but apparently it hasn't been open. I think it closed in 2018 actually. Maybe it was a little bit later than that. But
Mr. Adiego's her own personal Jesus. Yeah. Because are there different kinds of Christian fundamentalists? Of course there are. There are very many different kinds of Christian fundamentalists.
No, what he said was all the horrible Christian fundamentalists said, is there a different kind of Christian other than horrible ones? No, there aren't. Yeah. Gramthars Hammer, which job would be worse, wearing a Chewbacca costume every day in 100-degree heat at Disney, or wearing a Pharisee costume every day in 100-degree heat at Holy Land?
Oh, Chewbacca would be worst. Yeah. I'd rather fucking be a Pharisee.
I mean, the thing too about Disney, I don't know if this still applies, but I think that a lot of the costume characters at Disney, they usually even had to like share undergarments and things like that. Oh man, yeah. And you had to like walk around the park like all day, like in August when it's like 200 degrees in this big fucking fur suit. They are cooled, but I don't really. I mean, in this humidity, I don't think it would make that much of a difference.
Yeah, Gramthars. I talked to fucking Steve. I told Steve to hook up with you. You need to teach him some of the fucking ham radio skills. You need to get him on that ham. I told Steve he needs to get a UV9R, that Baofeng UV9. I got fucking 2 of those, the waterproof ones. They're only fucking like $35 right now, and I was checking those things out. You know, it's radio on a chip. It's not as nice as my Baofeng, but for the dollar for dollar, that fucking battery and the waterproofness, and as long as you got decent accessories, they got those Motorola. You can accept Motorola accessories. That's a nice little radio, man. That's what I told him to get. I get the ham and the GMRS. And some people said you could crack the ham version to program in GMRS frequencies into that thing. But that's between us. Go ahead. I'm done.
You sure?
Yeah. I went on a sidetrack to talk about radios.
But I'm
trying to remember what it was I forgot about with fucking Shelly Miscavige up at the fucking rim of the earth.
Long gone now.
Yeah, I'm sure trying to remember what it was I was fucking getting at. Shit.
Yeah, what were you getting at?
I was getting at something.
I couldn't tell.
I distracted myself.
Well, at least you can't blame me. I mean, you probably still will. Yeah. But but you just said. Gramthars said, Steve and I just had beers at an Irish pub. Ham radios and prepping was one of many topics of discussion.
Well, that's because I told him.
There you go.
That's because I told him to ask you about that. Yeah.
So Tom was behind it all along.
Behind all that shit.
He's the puppet master.
I said that UV9R is the way to go for the money. Yeah.
Along with catching up on the last 30 plus years. Yeah, that's a lot. God damn.
Yeah.
I don't even remember most of what happened over the last 30 years, to be honest with you. I don't know. I have a weird thing where it's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm a more forward-looking person. I don't really. Once shit's in the past, I don't really think about it all that much anymore. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I still do sometimes, but not usually.
Yeah.
Not usually. I got shit I gotta do in the future. I'm not worried about what happened back then. What was I gonna say?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, remember how they said that they found out who Somerton Man was?
Oh yeah, you look into it?
I did look into it. Now they don't know exactly like who killed him or how he ended up there, but they absolutely did find out who he was. And no, he was just like, he was an electrical engineer.
Okay.
And he was from Australia. He wasn't like anybody. I don't think he was a spy, but they said that he got divorced like 1947, so like a year before he died, and then they don't really have any record of where he was like for the year after that, so no one's entirely sure like where he was during the year prior to him getting killed. So, but they did find out who he was. I mean, with 99.9%
What about
certainty.
What about all the little books in the code?
Well, that's what they're trying to figure out now. They said, well, now that we know who he is, then it will probably be easier to like go and investigate all the weird shit like about his death, like what the fuck was he up to? So, you know, because when they didn't know who he was before, that made it a lot harder.
Are you ready to do a show on it, or you got to give it more time?
I want to give them more time because really all they have is they figured out his name. Like they did it through DNA. Like they found like his, you know, just distant cousins. He had distant cousins that were still alive, like in Australia. And they were able to like pinpoint it down to like the one person that, you know, didn't have a death certificate or blah, blah, blah. So they actually found out who he was. But like I said, they don't really know much beyond that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking about that before we did the show because I was watching a video about it from the news, like in Adelaide or whatever.
Speaking of spy stuff, I saw Brandon Tenold's video came up of his review of 007 on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Brandon did on Her Majesty's Secret Service? I don't remember him doing that.
Not Brandon. No.
Oliver.
Oliver, not Brandon.
Yeah.
Oliver did that.
Because I was like, Brandon. Brandon usually does like shitty, like shitty,
Oliver,
like Godzilla.
What's his name? Oliver
Harper.
Oliver Harper. Yeah. And he said it's one of the best Bond films, and it's got that one actor. I forgot his name. That's the only fucking movie he did of it. Telly Savalas plays fucking Blofeld. He recommended.
Yeah, that's right.
He says it's good. He says it's real good. And he said that a lot of the stuff that you saw later on in the Daniel Craig movies and shit kind of was taken from that movie, it's kind of like a standalone. But then Sean Connery came back after anyway. He only did one movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said it was good. He said it's real good. It says it kind of like it got panned at the time that it was released, but over time people have kind of accepted it as like one of the best James Bond movies. I'd like to see it.
So at any point in the movie does Blofeld say, "Who loves you, baby?" And like suck on a lollipop?
I don't know.
Because that would be super funny if that happened. And anachronistic, probably.
Oliver liked Telly Savalas.
Yeah, George Lazenby, that's his name.
Lazenby, yeah.
Lazenby.
And who was not an actor. This was his first movie. And he fucking talked his way into that role.
He was Australian.
Yeah, and he became an actor afterwards, based on it. He made bunch of money in real estate.
That's jumping in at the deep end, isn't it?
Yeah, he just talked his way into being 007.
Come on, guys, let me be James Bond.
And then Telly Savalas was fucking Blofeld, and Oliver Harper liked Telly Savalas' take on Blofeld better than the dude from fucking. He was the guy who played the doctor from fucking Friday the 13th, or excuse me,
Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance, yeah, not Friday the 13th. Halloween, yeah. Yeah, he said he liked him a little bit better than fucking Donald Pleasance.
The drunker Tom gets
fucking,
you know that movie with the guy with the guy,
the dude with the movie thing. With the dude,
the dude,
the dude with the dick. Yeah,
the dude with the head and the arms.
Yeah, he got
a head. You know. Well, it's only just because I've known you for such a long time.
You know what I'm thinking.
That usually I know. Like what, not always, but like sometimes I know like what tracks your mind is going down, so I'm just kind of like, so I'm right there with it. Usually, I've started forgetting names too sometimes, but
yeah.
You know what I mean. Linex Warrior said, okay, I'm so stoned I can no longer type coherently.
It's okay.
I wish I could drink once again. I don't know, you seem to be doing pretty good.
You're doing good, dude.
You spelled everything right and it's grammatically correct.
We're drunk, y'all are drunk, it's fucking Friday.
Hey, I'm not drunk yet. Right. I'm still on my first one. I haven't even finished it.
Tomorrow, me and Jen will probably go out to the club. We'll see.
Yeah, we might go out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, it's not close, but it's easy to get to on the toll roads.
Yeah.
It's an easy drive. And I do like, I didn't know how I didn't know how I felt about the venue, like when we first got there, but the more times we go there, the more I like it. It's still weird.
It's private, though.
Like, nothing's ever gonna top their old location because, that was iconic.
It was downtown, yeah.
That was iconic, and it was just like, you know. So it was a little bit weird, and it was a little bit weird to get used to, but yeah, I think I like it. One, it's a lot easier to get to. You don't have to go on I-4. You can go on, the toll roads, and there's nobody out and about, so it's a lot safer. And you get there, and there's, nobody around. It's not downtown. It's, in the fucking warehouse district. It's pretty awesome. It's, pretty quiet. You can go hang out in the parking lot and talk or smoke or drink in your car and then go back in and dance.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So, you know.
Lion said I said Tom would have been a Gaul gladiator. Yeah. Hell yeah. And then Graham says, I told him that you were the catalyst for our getting back together all this time. Yeah. Hell yeah. He's been around. You guys, y'all need to get together in these hard times so you know who you could trust. Get some radios and talk to each other, and radios and guns. And fucking cryptocurrency.
You can go, psh,
yeah.
Hey, what's up?
And then fucking Mr. 88 says, Tom ties together ham radio. I think the founder of the Christian Park was Ken Ham. Yeah.
Did he found that one? I thought he founded that weird, creationist park in... Where the fuck is that? Kansas? It's in the Midwest somewhere. I've never been to that one. I don't think he did Holy Land, though. I think the thing behind Holy Land, which actually I didn't really know, although maybe you told me this and I just forgot, was actually the guy who started it was actually a Jewish guy who had converted to Christianity. Yeah. So his whole goal, even though he never really said this, but his whole goal with Holy Land was to, I don't know if he necessarily wanted to convert Jews to Christianity, but that was kind of what his maybe, and because when the park first opened, and I totally did not remember this because it was so long ago that it wasn't even on the radar for me, but they said that a lot of Jewish people in Orlando protested it because they're fuck off, we don't want to be fucking converted, and that they thought that was kind of what the dude was trying to do with the park.
Well, what's funny is that was the genesis of Christianity anyway. You go back to fucking 1st and 2nd century.
Well, yeah.
Christianity was created by Jews that had grown up inside of the Roman influence, inside of the Roman Empire. It was Judaism part 2. It was a Judaism that was acceptable to Romans. It had become very Romanized. Jesus, and a lot of the stories about Jesus are reinterpretations of fucking Hercules and what was his name? Another one of the Roman gods I'm thinking of.
Well, which one? There was the
one that was fucking. Never mind.
Simon, the god of Herades.
No. I'll remember it when I can. But most of the Christian scriptures are basically Jews Roman Jews trying to convince Jews to convert to Christianity.
Well, like I said, that was kind of seemed like that was the mission statement, but like the low-key mission statement of Holy Land. Yeah. Even though they didn't want to come out and say it because they're like, oh, everyone's welcome, yada yada. But
Dionysus, that's what I was thinking about. Jesus is partially a copy of Dionysus.
Okay. The party god.
Yeah. Yeah, partially. Well, he did a lot of other stuff though. He was all the magnanimous, forgiving,
I know.
Yeah. So, mythicism which I'm big into mythicism. You can go look at fucking Dr. Robert M. Price. We've had him on the show before. He'll tell you all about mythicism, and you'll see that Christianity is a Roman religion. It's a Roman religion, but the baseline is Judaism. Jews who grew up in Rome, making a new religion that was more politically correct in terms of Rome. Because you live here now, not over in Judea. And, let's fucking become more Roman. And the Jewish God is Roman now. It's a Roman-style version of the Jewish God. That's all it is. And it's not unique. The Egyptians in Rome were doing the same thing. They had Mithras. There were two different versions of Mithras. The Egyptian version and the Roman version. And there were two different versions of Judaism, the Jewish version and the Roman version. And that's what Christianity is. And this goes back to the Germans of the bent cross and the mustache man. The reason why they did not like Christianity. Because it was Jewish. It was just Jewish. They didn't like it. They thought it was a Jewish creation. They wanted it out of Europe.
John Smith says, was that Kent Hovind you were thinking of? Yeah, that's right. I think it was Kent Hovind that did that. Well, wait, didn't Ken Ham have one too? Because I thought they had the Creationist Park, and I remember that because they had the, was like a Triceratops with a saddle on it, because they think that dinosaurs and humans existed at the same time. Yeah. And like cavemen rode dinosaurs. Didn't happen. Well, obviously. Didn't happen. But, so they built a whole park about it. But didn't one of them, maybe it was Ken Ham, didn't they have like an Ark Park? I don't know if they ever built it, but I think that he was like raising money to like build like a life-size Noah's Ark that was going to have like a theme park kind of situation inside of it. I don't know. It's been like a while since I read about that, but we have here not here, but on the way to Tampa. Is it in Lakeland, I want to say? There is like a dinosaur theme park that's really old, and it's just, I don't think it's open anymore, but it's just like you can see some of the dinosaurs from like the side of I-4, and it's like I always kind of like look for the dinosaurs every time we go to Tampa, but I don't think it's open anymore. I don't think it's creationist. I just think it's just like, I just think it's just a regular park for little kids, like if they're on the road, and
Glenn Little jumps in knowing all about Mithrans. Yeah, exactly. And then Mithraism and early Christianity joining together with the idea of fucking the apostles and the Last Supper. The Last Supper.
The Last Supper.
Last Supper. The Last Supper. That's the porn.
That's what I was
The Last
say.
Supper. Fucking the Last Supper and the disciples. That's Mithras. All right.
You say the most ridiculous.
I know. I fucking crazy. And then you find out that all those really old Christian monasteries and the really old Christian churches are all built upon Mithraic temples that the church bought, like in the 1st and 2nd century as it grew. And you find that the fucking cult of Mithras and cult of Jesus merged early on, 1st, 2nd century. So it is what it is. It is what it is. It was business.
John Smith said Kent Hovind had Dinosaur Adventureland. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He now has a YouTube channel after getting out of prison. Which one is it that hangs out with the kid that used to be on Growing Pains? Banana Man. Was that Ken Ham?
I don't remember.
The one that said creationism must be true because bananas are perfectly hand. I'm like, you know that humans cultivated those, right? Like wild bananas didn't look anything like that.
Bananas are man-made.
They are.
Yeah. A lot of the shit that fucking these dudes talk about, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Look into the history of agriculture, bud.
Fucking chickens are man-made. Had you seen what a chicken looked like 100 years ago, you'd be like, that's a chicken? Fucking motherfucker had been the size of a pigeon.
Well, yeah, I mean, the wild version, like I said, wild versions of bananas don't look anything just like the wild versions of corn, like corn on the cob, don't look anything like. I mean, people cultivated that.
And then there are versions of bananas that Americans will never see. In Brazil, they had the little bitty bananas. They were like the size of a finger. They were beautiful.
It's a finger.
And they tasted like an apple. That a texture of a banana.
That sounds kind of better, actually.
Like an apple. They were little bitty, tiny little miniature bananas. They because the banana that you're seeing, that's the very common bulk version of the banana here in the United States. You go into fucking South America, there's like fucking 50 versions of those things. You know?
Well, yeah, that's kind of the thing. Yeah. It's like a lot of the produce you get in the U.S. is like big agribusiness. Yeah. So a lot of it is just like a few strains of, you know what I mean? Whereas like in other parts of the world, there's a lot of different
varieties.
Like somebody went past with their stereo blaring. Yeah. It's like, it was really loud.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Brazil had fucking like at least 5 big versions of the banana.
I mean, it's gotten better now. Like nowadays, I kind of feel like when I was a kid growing up, like you go and there was like one kind of banana, like 2 or 3 different kinds of apples, like stuff like that. But now there's like a lot more. It's like, I mean, there's way more shit in the produce section than there was when I was a kid. That's for sure.
You can make any kind of fruit you want. Same thing with animals. If you got time, you can make any kind of animal you want through selective breeding.
I mean, if you got time.
Yeah, if you got time. The cows that we're eating now are much bigger than they used to be, and it's the same with the chickens. The Sanderson's Farm chickens from Mississippi should not exist. We tried to send Sanderson Farms chickens to Russia, and they sent them back. They said, there's got to be something wrong. The chicken is not that big. And they're right. The Sanderson Farms chicken is so big, it can get fucking gigantic, fucking 3 times bigger than a fucking wild chicken. Of what it descended from, 3 times big. They're so big that they'll break their own legs just running around. So they keep them in boxes. Because they can reach maturity in about a month. And I don't understand. That's selective breeding and hormones, steroids, getting them that big that
probably
fast.
Not the best idea. Over the
so
long term.
I don't hold anything against the Russians about saying nah, that can't be a chicken. Send that shit
no
back.
Thanks.
The meat isn't that good on a Sanderson Farm chicken. It's tough, but it's big. You just got to cook it a lot.
Well, yeah, all they want is quantity, not quality.
Just quantity. Yeah.
Lion X Warrior said, homeschooled ultra-Christians actually use Kent's seminars as science fact. Yeah, that's right. He's got all that creationist bullshit, and if you homeschool your kids in that, they use that. Kirk Cameron, that's that bitch's name. I couldn't remember. His movie Saving Christmas is annual viewing in my home. Yeah. I kind of want to watch it. I've seen clips of it, and I've seen people mocking it. And I think when I watched or listened to the podcast God Awful Movies, and they kind of do that too, like where they just mock like fucking super Christian movies. And I think they did an episode on Saving Christmas, and it sounded entertaining and also horrifying at the same time. So I don't know. Maybe one of these days, if I have some brain cells to kill, I'll watch it. But it'll probably just make me mad.
we can bust on Christians, that's fine, but I'll also bust on fucking people who aren't religious at all, that believe in theistic fucking concepts. They're not just fucking religious religions. There's fucking, what do you call them, secular religions. Like, they got a whole bunch of people out there that think that carbon dioxide is poisonous. It's not. Carbon monoxide is, but not carbon dioxide. As part of the carbon cycle. If you increase the carbon dioxide, what'll happen is you'll get increased temperatures, but you'll also get increased plants. And they'll produce more oxygen. It won't end the earth. There's just too much goddamn evidence. It's still a trace element as it is now, but you go to any university and they'll tell you, oh no, carbon dioxide is terrible. No, it isn't. They've been paid to say that. You gotta look at the fucking details. During the dinosaur age, the carbon dioxide levels were fucking far above what they are now. Far above. And the place was a fucking lush, tropical environment. You had smaller poles, true, but you didn't end up with Kevin Costner's Waterworld. And they had smaller poles back then. It was just, the coastline was different. But if you have a higher carbon dioxide content, you'll have fucking shit tons of plants. It'll be tropical everywhere and raining everywhere. It'll be like the fucking monsoon season. And if that shit gets too far, you'll have an ice age. Because you have so many clouds, you'll deflect the fucking solar radiation back out into the earth and the temperatures will fall. So yeah, there is a fucking balance that you got to look at. But we're nowhere near that tipping point of what people... this global warming bullshit they're talking about. That's all fake. It's all about making money. It is fake.
No,
I've looked at the real data.
Yeah, okay.
It is fake.
Okay.
It's fake.
All right.
It is fake.
Okay. Why don't you go make me another drink before you are being a handful?
No,
go make me another drink.
They can take a lot more CO2, like 7 times. That's what it was in the dinosaur age.
I'm sure you know better than all the scientists in the world.
They've been paid.
Go make me a drink.
They've been paid.
All the scientists in the world have been paid.
It's not all the scientists. It's the ones that worked on it, and they were paid to find that conclusion.
Okay.
They were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom knows everything.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Gramthars says, a former landlord once loaned me Kirk Cameron's movie Firewall. Is it Firewall or Fireproof? Saying it was a must-see movie about marriage. I made it about 10 minutes in before putting a porn on. Yeah. Well, okay, I haven't seen that movie either, but I think I also saw the breakdown on God-Awful Movies. Isn't one of the plot points of that Kirk Cameron is a porn addict? Is that another? Because I think he did one called, I think it was called Fireproof. And then he did another one about marriage, I think was called War Room, I want to say, or something like that. And in one of those, he was a porn addict. But of course, they couldn't, show any porn. They just had to, do it in a real slick sort of way. But, yeah. Is that the one that I'm thinking of? I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Talking about Kirk Cameron's movies. I kind of want to watch them, but then I kind of want to don't. Because... I think I like it better when I could watch god-awful movies and stuff like that where people are just making fun of it. Because if I actually just watched it, I'd probably just end up getting really mad and yelling at it and turning it off.
John is saying, Tom, you know that 99% of the scientists disagree with you? 99% of the scientists that disagree with me were paid. And they're whores. If you actually look at them, they're not climate people. They're just fucking... people. They're Democrats. They'll say anything.
So am I.
Yeah, but you'll just be paid to say that.
Yeah, I'm paid to say all this stuff. Where's my money?
Look at the fucking data. The CO2 levels were much higher millions of years ago.
Please stop.
They were much, much higher millions of years ago, and you still had life on the planet. You still had life on the planet. They were fucking many times higher. And what it allowed for more plants. It allowed for insects to get giant. It's just not a poison. It's part of the carbon cycle. You could look at it in a certain way to say that the planet is dying. What's up, Pookie? You could say that the planet is dying because it used to be even more lush. You had more carbon dioxide, more oxygen, a much thicker what do you call it? Atmosphere. Don't believe what those people say. You gotta look at real scientists. The real science says that they're full of shit. Yeah, Gramthars says Iceland was tropical back in the day. It was. And a lot of that had to do with the atmosphere was a lot thicker. It was a lot denser back then.
Are you done?
Yeah, it was rich in carbon dioxide and oxygen. It was.
Don't annoy me again. You annoyed me on Wednesday.
See, she can do what
Don't fucking annoy me.
All right.
God damn it.
Yeah. Ugh. Stop it. They said, stop winding up Tom. Hold on, let me get
I didn't know. Nobody wound him up.
Yeah,
he was just like that. And I was just kind of like, oh, God. It's not going to be any fun. I know it. I look forward to doing these shows, but it's when he's in this mood... And when he's been out all afternoon drinking already, and it's just he's already getting all fucking, and I'm just like, oh God, this is not going to be any fun for me, I can tell. Yeah, John Smith says, lifelong atheist here. Same here. Yeah, I think I figured that shit out when I was 10, 11, 12. And I'm just like, yeah, that's a bunch of crap.
What? What are you saying? No, there's a difference between fucking...
I'm not talking about you. I was talking about something else.
Oh, okay. I believe in science.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I believe in science.
No, you don't.
I believe in based science, though.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do believe in science. She doesn't know what I'm talking about. I believe in science.
No, you don't.
Not what those fuckers say. They just say anything you pay them to say. Okay. They do.
I'm just, you know what? This is a boring topic to me, and it's like
they do. I fucking see
and
this.
nothing. And,
I gotta go.
And like I said, there's no point. There's no point. I've learned this. Like I've known him for a long time. There's no point in like arguing with him because he thinks he's right about everything. And so if you argue with him about it, he's just gonna be like, well, no, blah blah blah. So it's just there's no point. There's no point. You know what I mean? There's no point arguing because he thinks he's right about everything. Next 2 hours are going to be a hoot. Yeah, probably. This is Cherry. Yeah, I'm just... Well, I mean, I think I was getting kind of, like, annoyed on Wednesday night. Like, not super annoyed, but because we were trying to do a show about, like, a very serious, like, true crime case where 8 young people were slaughtered in cold blood, and I'm just like, at some point, I don't even remember how we started off on that tangent, but he's, like, showing, like, old goth pictures of himself. I'm like... Can we talk about the murders and like not make this all about you? But it's just, I don't know. I was just getting annoyed, but not that annoyed. But yeah, so I already started this show like kind of because he already said like before we started, ooh, I'm going to be a handful. And I'm just like, oh goody. It's going to be like that. And like I said, the drunker I get, like the less patient I get too. So there is going to be that also. John Smith said, when it comes to atheism as a kid, I pretty much figured that Santa and God were the same. Yeah, I think what got me to that conclusion was not so much Santa Claus. I think it was, I was real into Greek mythology when I was a kid. When I started reading it, and then like in 81, I saw Clash of the Titans, which I was like super, super into. And the more I started like reading about it, I'm like, wait a minute. Like thousands of years ago, like some people actually believe this was true, just like people believe like religions are true nowadays. And I'm just like, oh, there's no difference. So yeah, I think I was maybe like 10 or 11 when I figured that out. Lion X says, this is a cool live stream. We need you and Tom in combination. Yeah, I mean, it is fun. I mean, to be honest, I do like that I do my own channels now because, it's kind of, it's nice to just be able to talk, and I can stay focused on a topic usually, and not go off on a bunch of tangents, and I kind of like that better, like to just sort of like follow my own stuff instead of, sometimes, like I said, so this, I don't mind the sidetracks because, like I said, we can just talk about whatever, and I'm not concerned about it, but when we do the regular show, I usually I'm at least trying to like get all the information in. And so it gets kind of like frustrating if I can't do that. But I know, it's at least I have my own shit now. Oh, by the way, if you haven't, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I think somebody asked, I don't remember who it was, but somebody asked about the shirts for the Scare Salon site. See, I just got that yesterday or the day before. So that's the one, that's the ladies one with the scoop neck. Well, it's not a scoop neck because they're out of those, but it's like the V-neck. And they have regular ass shirts too. And there's mugs and shit, but on
Pook's running up the fucking tree and fighting it and trying to get me to come up in the damn apartment with her. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have time to come up with it to get up inside the apartment with the cat.
But on Monday, so if you haven't gone and subscribed to my Scare Salon channel, do that because it's all, I've got a bunch of videos up there now, but I also have a site, just scaresalon.com, and there's like a bunch of movie reviews, and I put new shit up on there every day, like a new post. And Monday, I'm starting another YouTube channel that's going to be all true crime. And I also have a website for that. It's done, like I have a bunch of shit up on it, but I haven't done it public yet, but I'm going to do it Monday, August 1st. And that's going to be like all unsolved murders. And it's called Crime Immemorial. So that's going to be a whole site and a whole new channel. I have 2 videos made for it. I'm going to put up 2 a week. And I'm going to put up 2 a week on Scare Salon. And I'm going to keep doing all the stuff on 13 o'clock too. So, okay. Like I said, I like to make a lot of work for myself.
Mr. 88 is saying what I'm missing is the amount of fucking pollution and the rate that it's been dumped in over the past 2,000 years and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not missing that. You're overestimating all that. I fucking looked at the data. That's nothing compared to what's happening around the Pacific Rim with the volcanic activity. Things like meteor impacts that have happened over the fucking hundreds of thousands of years. Shit that happens inside of just plate tectonics. No, there hasn't been any impact. Proof is go look at Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock looks exactly the way it looks now than it did back in the fucking 1500s. Nothing's changed. There hasn't been much of an impact. What makes big impacts are things that are giant, like fucking eruptions of super volcanoes and fucking meteor impacts. That'll make a difference. But that's happened many times. It goes back to baseline. It might take thousands of years, but it'll eventually go back to baseline. No, I'm just... You could take the entire Earth's population and fucking put them all in L.A. if they were fucking side by side. There's just not that many people. We're not making a big enough impact. We're making an impact, but it's just not big enough. And it's nowhere near as bad as it was in the 70s. I remember what it was in the 70s when I was a kid. I could barely fucking breathe in L.A. with all the smog and shit. It's just gotten a lot better. We got to get off a fucking planet. That's the secret. Fuck the Earth. We're going to use this shit up. We got to colonize other planets. Go interstellar. Go to other fucking planets. We got to spread like a disease. This shit here is fucking unlimited fucking space. It's everywhere. We run this shit. We either run it or it runs us. There's only two things. It's only two choices. It's going to be all right.
Gramthars said, some lesser-known serial killer topics for your new channel. The Ypsilanti Killer. Yeah, I wrote that down. So if we don't do it on the main show, then I'll do it on the other one. Oakland County, that's Michigan, right? Killer, and Coral Watts, who killed 8 of... Yeah. I think I have him written down, but I'll write it down again because I know I have Ypsilanti Killer because I remember somebody said that about. But I remember, like, it's crazy how many fucking... Now, somebody on Wednesday's show said about Pedro Lopez, that serial killer, and I put him in the poll that went up this morning. So if you're on Patreon, which you should be, you can vote in the polls for the topics for the week and also for the movie retrospective. And that's about all you can vote for right now. But, because the other shows we do, we never know, like, what movies we're going to do. So, you know. But I don't remember what movies I put in the poll. But I remember that I definitely put Pedro Lopez in there. John Smith, to paraphrase Red Dwarf, humans are the reason that other planets avoid being near the Earth. Don't go to your Earth, it's got humans, right? I wouldn't have to hang out with us if I wasn't aliens. But, well, the thing is, we were watching The Unexplained last night, and I had fallen asleep, like, during the UFO one, because, I don't know why, but, like, UFO shit just, like, is really boring to me. But, so that one was, like, kind of a boring episode. But I watched the end of it because I felt like, I gotta watch the end of it. And I was kind of thinking to myself... I don't know. I kind of feel like if I was aliens, I'd just be like flying by Earth, being like, "Man, fuck that place."
We
don't want to go there.
A lot of the alien stories that you see on TV, or first of all, they're misrepresented. When you look at the television series, they don't quite tell it the way the witnesses do. They definitely don't show the proper video to match the story that they're talking about. Like when they talk about the Tic Tac UFO.
Yeah, they did a segment on that.
They always show another video. Okay? And it was the video that was taken by another pair of aviators. They came back later and saw that. That is not the Tic Tac that the fucking main witness is talking about. All right? And then a good example would be the Phoenix Lights. They talk about the Phoenix Lights, but they never show the real Phoenix Lights video because it's not very impressive. What they show is a video of flares.
Well, that's what. I think it's no.
They do that shit.
I know, but I think it's so much that because we don't have any good video of the real thing. So here's
let's show the flares.
So let's show the flares because at least that looks like something.
Yeah, but the thing is that totally misrepresents what the fucking case was. I have a video of the real Phoenix Lights. I've sent it to people who listen to the show. I've sent it to Xanada. I sent it to a couple other people. I sent it to fucking Conobotslan. And it's hard to find that video on YouTube because it's not impressive looking. The real Phoenix Lights video. Just a fucking grainy video of a triangle of lights. But it's far more convincing when you look at it in that context. When you look at what the Flares video, you're like, yeah, that's pretty impressive, but that is not what they're talking about. That is not the Phoenix Lights. That was Flares. Okay? It makes you wonder if there's an effort to cloak or to disguise these cases. Because there's a couple cases that impressed me. There's 3 of them that stand out. The Phoenix Lights case. The real Phoenix Lights, not the fucking flares. Okay? Thousands of people called in and saw that. Cops saw that. Another one would be the Triangle over Illinois, where 2 different police outfits. And Gramthars is in the comment section right now. He's a fucking retired policeman. He'll tell you. You have 2 different police organizations on 2 different communication webs talking about this thing. The chances of just regular beat cops getting together to make this story up is nil. They saw something flying. They even got a picture of it. One of the cops did. It just looks like lights, okay, in the sky. There was some kind of a fucking exotic craft there, probably extraterrestrial. I don't think humans could have made it based upon the performance that are outlined by the fucking data of the witnesses, okay? Third one that fucking freaks me out is the Tehran UFO. Because that was backed up by U.S. spy satellites. That something in that area moved at a high fucking supersonic speed. And there were no supersonic reconnaissance craft in that area. It was like Mach 8, if I remember correctly. It's hard to get something. I mean, the SR-71 Blackbird, this is the 70s. SR-71 Blackbird only moved at like 3.5 Mach. This was like Mach 8? I don't think so. And what he did, and what fucking Colonel Jafari, his colonel, and his later, I think he was a fucking captain at the time. What Jafari reported was exotic. He said, basically what he's saying, what he's described as something that a U.S. Air Force craft or a Soviet craft could not do that. And the U.S. and the Soviets would have been the leaders in aviation at the time in the 70s. So what he's talking about is extraterrestrial. Now, are they extraterrestrial spaceships as you know them with little squishy fucking alien creatures in there? Probably not. I think they're more like something AI, kind of like the monolith out of fucking 2001. It's probably what it is. Some kind of probe. Very weird. Very weird. But it's not weird when you really think about it. We're a backwater. We're a primitive species in a backwater, and there's older civilizations around, and they're probably living machines, and I'm sure they've known about this planet for fucking thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of years, and we don't even really register to them. Here's an equivalent. You're driving down the highway in your car, and you look on the side of the road, and there's a damn there's a fucking a crane sitting there, or a fucking crow sitting there on the side of the road watching you. You know what I mean? Are you going to pull over and go talk to that crow? No, you're going to keep driving. So that's probably all it is. We're that crow sitting there on the side of the road, on the side of the freeway. It's going to be something like that.
I mean, they probably find humans as boring as I find them.
Yeah.
So,
they're going to be like, oh,
fair
yeah,
enough.
Those things, we know about those.
We are pretty lame, so
yeah, that's all it is.
I don't really know why, they'd want to talk to us anyway.
Yeah, those.
Cannack says, how do you guys feel about doing a Stranger Things show? I actually would not mind doing that. I would have to, before I did that, I would probably have to watch all 3 seasons again, just to refresh my memory. Because I did watch most of the new season. I still haven't watched, the last 1 or 2 episodes. But I kind of want, I forgot a bunch of shit. Because, like a dumbass, I didn't watch season 2 or season 3, before the new one. So I kind of got behind. But, look how behind I am. You guys, last year, it was probably, a year and a half ago, I bought the new Twin Peaks, newest Twin Peaks, which 2019, 2018, whatever the fuck it was. I still haven't watched it. I bought like the whole Twin Peaks like in a big box set. I got it for myself for my birthday or Christmas or something like that. And I said, one of these days, I'm going to sit down. I'm just going to like binge all the shit. Like I'm going to watch all of them at the same time, capping it off with the new one. And I still haven't done it yet because I just haven't had time. And that is definitely one video I want to do. And I might do a Stranger Things one as well because I really actually like that show. Is it lame to like that show? Is it too popular now? I don't know. Because I never
saw the beginning of it. Everybody loves it, but I never saw it.
You would probably really like it.
Everybody
but
that.
You'd probably have to have to watch it from the very beginning.
Go back to the beginning.
Because it doesn't. I mean, you can't just like jump right in because there's like a whole. Because even I jumped right in and I've seen all the shit and I was just kind of like, wait, what happened with this now? You know what I mean?
Everybody loves it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. It's really good. So what's the new one? New one season's 4, right? So it's the 4th season, I think, is the newest.
I gotta go back and watch it.
You should probably watch the whole thing. Like I said, you probably dig it.
Yeah.
It's very, very, well, like I said, it's just like an 80s. It's set in the 80s.
Right.
It's very much 80s. I mean, they got like all the period details like correct. And it's very much like an 80s like Steven Spielberg sci-fi horror adventure with a bunch of kids.
Well, one of the channels that I listen to a lot about movies and I really trust them because they're kind of an international outfit of dudes with good taste, which is Midnight's Edge, and they fucking talked about the failure of new Star Wars and compared that to how great what's the name of this fucking series? Stranger Things is, and how Stranger Things got it right, and then they dole out why it's right. But then they say why Star Wars got it wrong and why it was wrong. So, and I agreed with why Star Wars was wrong.
Well, Stranger Things and Star Wars are two completely different things. I mean...
But they said that, but they were talking about why one worked and the other one didn't. And they said that the writing on fucking Stranger Things was awesome. And that they knew what they were doing.
Well, all the characters are good. Yeah. You really kind of get into, or at least I did, like you get really into like all the characters and I don't know, it's just like a really good, like I said, it's like a really good Steven Spielberg sci-fi adventure with horror elements.
Yeah.
It's an interdimensional is what it is. And there's stuff about like government conspiracy, like, like MK Ultra type shit. Where it's like, we had all these kids that have like psychic powers and shit like that. So it's like a fire starter. It's very Stephen King-y. Well, that's kind of why they use that Stephen King font, like for, it's they're homaging. Yeah. Which is crazy because I think the Duffer Brothers, the guys that created it, I don't even think they were born in the 80s, but holy shit. They really, really did. I mean, I watched the first season of that because everybody told me to watch it. So I watched it and I was just kind of like, holy crap, this was exactly... It looked exactly like the 80s. I was like, oh my God, that looked exactly like my house, like growing up. Like we had that furniture, we had those dishes, we had like that whole thing. It was just like they really, really did a good job.
I would probably like it. According to fucking Midnight's Edge, they said I would love it.
I told you a long time ago that you would like it. But like I said, you gotta there's a lot of characters and there's a lot of plot threads, so you really kind of have to. I mean, it's not like something because I tried to get I don't know if I've tried that hard, but I tried to get him into that German series Dark. But that one is like super complicated. I mean, you really, really have to. That's kind of like Stranger Things for I don't want to say Stranger Things for adults because that sounds mean. But no, I'm just saying I'm just saying that it's a lot more like complicated. And like you had to have like flow charts and shit and I was just like, wait, what timeline is this? Because there's like 5 or 6 different timelines. So you really had to, but it was really good, but there was a lot to keep track of. Stranger Things is a lot more, it's a lot more crowd pleasing. Like I said, it's a lot more like a Stephen King novel or like a Steven Spielberg movie from the 80s or something like that. It's very much in that vein. So that's why I was trying to kind of get you into it. And I'm not shitting on it. I really like it. I really like it. I mean, I liked Dark as well, but they're similar, but they're two different. They're coming at it from two different approaches. You know what I mean? But yeah, you probably really, really dig Stranger Things, I would think, because it'll probably like bring back a lot of memories and shit like that. I mean, all the kids that are in it. Well, it's funny because when I first started watching the show, I mean, they were kids. They were kind of like 11 or 12 years old, and like now in season 4 or whatever the fuck, now they're like awkward teenagers. So it's like funny, like watch. I was like, oh my god, they're in those awkward teenage years. But you know.
Well, I guess I got to see it.
You do.
Okay.
John Smith said, I love Dark, but you need to take notes as you watch. Yeah, I mean, after I finished that, I had to go back and like, because somebody on, was it on Wikipedia or somebody on the thing had made this massive chart that kind of had all the timelines and all the relationships between, because that has like people being their own parents and shit like that. And so it's a lot to keep track of. Yeah. But if you do keep track of all of it, then it's really, really good. But you do have to keep track of a lot.
So this reminds me of, remember Blood Machines? Mm-hmm. I fucking love Blood Machines. I wish that would continue, but I think they might have fucking played. I guess that story's done. But if you go on,
they could expand that universe out, though.
If you go on, if you go on, what servers was that they came on for? Shudder. Shudder had a series called Blood Machines, which was good. It was part science fiction, fantasy, and part music video. It was fucking great. I visually, I fucking really loved it, and it was like bizarre. You know, it was just bizarre. They had their own take on it. It's kind of like how Star Wars felt in '77 when it first came out, which was brand new and bizarre and its own take. Well, the band that made that music, I think it's called Blood. Was it Blood something or other? Anyway, Sophie is going to see them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, yeah. They did the music to that.
Yeah,
she just messaged me today. She said she was going to go see them I think in a couple weeks down in Michigan. But yeah, so she sent me the flyer and everything. I was like, oh man, that'd probably be good. Blood Angle? No, Blood.
No, that's Blue Tangle. That's a totally different band.
That's a totally different band.
I don't think the name had anything to do with blood in it, though. Okay. I don't think.
Let me see what she said.
Not that I remember.
Can find it. She just messaged me like a couple minutes.
Because I remembered like doing research about it, but I don't remember the name of the band. John Smith said season 3 of Twin Peaks is pretty much David Lynch saying, "Oh, you thought my other stuff was a little esoteric?" Ha ha ha. Yeah. Well, that's why I want to see it. That's why I want to see it.
Carpenter Brute.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Carpenter Brute.
No, Brute.
Brute. Okay, Brute.
Yeah. So that's what I said. It doesn't have anything to do with blood.
Okay, yeah. She's gonna go see them in a couple days.
That's what I thought.
Oh, see, look at that.
I was gonna say it didn't have anything to do with blood.
I thought it was blood.
No.
Okay, Brute. Carpenter Brute.
John Smith said, by the by, the makers of Dark have a new show coming out called 1899. It looks promising. Oh, I'll definitely be watching that. Because, man, I was into that. And I watched that. I actually watched the whole thing through like 2 times. I never did do a video on it, though, I don't think. Did I? Maybe I did. I can't remember if I did or not. I wanted to, but I don't remember if I ever got around to it or not. But like I said, you really have to, like, take notes. Because that shit was, like, complicated. So Stranger Things is less complicated. It's like much easier to keep track of, but but I don't know. I don't want to say it's like a similar vibe to Dark, but it's kind of the same thing. There's no time travel in Stranger Things, is there? But there is like an interdimensional, because there's another dimension kind of called the Upside Down that's sort of like just right on the other side of our dimension. And there's like a secretive government project that they're trying to like open up a rift. Did they open up the rift on purpose? I can't remember. Was it an accident? But then they were also like experimenting on like kids that had like psychic powers and shit, like Firestarter. So like I said, you'd probably be into it. Has anyone seen the new Argento film? I still haven't yet. And I haven't, like, I've seen some other horror channels, like, review it, but I'm like, I don't want to watch it yet because I kind of want to just come to it, like, without any... I'm not expecting much, to be honest with you. I don't think I've seen anything new of his since... I want to say, well, didn't he do that Dracula movie? Whenever the hell that was? With the big praying mantis in it? I don't even think I saw the one that was just called Giallo. And when was that? 2009? I don't know. I didn't love it. But I mean, I didn't love the last stuff that I saw. I didn't like Mother of Tears either. Which was what, 2007? I want to say that was 2007. I was like really looking forward to that because it was supposed to be like the third one in the Three Mothers trilogy. Because I'm like, oh my god, finally he's finishing it. But I should have known. I knew that wasn't gonna go. But it didn't really. I felt like I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it because I only saw it once, and I just remember being like, fuck this shit. But I remember it not. It didn't look anything like the first two, like Suspiria and Inferno. I was like, you would think that if he was actually gonna make the third one in the trilogy after all this fucking time, you would think that he'd at least have like some thematic, you know, that he'd keep it like looking like the other ones, but it didn't really look like the other ones. It just kind of looked like a generic witch movie. Giallo was 2009. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think I saw that one. John Smith said, I saw it. It's the best film Argento has made in 20 years, damning with faint praise. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's not saying a lot, but... Because, man, what was the last good movie? I'm going to say the last good movie he did was probably Stendhal Syndrome.
What,
I mean,
Argento?
some people could change my mind, but...
Did he make that fucking vampire movie with the stupid-ass fucking cricket?
That's what I just said. I just said that, like, 5 seconds ago.
I was sleeping.
Like, I guess you were.
That shit is fucking terrible.
And it wasn't a cricket. It was a praying mantis.
Yeah, same thing. Cricket.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call
it's not the same thing. It's two completely
I'm going to call it a
things.
cricket.
It's two completely different things. It's a praying mantis. Yeah, that was
Real
like
close.
super stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna say, but I haven't seen all of them. But I think the last one that I liked anyway, like he had some like shit ones in there. I think I talked about on my Flickers of Fear show. I think I talked about Trauma, which came out in I think '93. That one's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Stendhal Syndrome I actually quite liked, and that was '96. But I don't know. I think his last great movie was probably Opera, and that was 1987. But Stendhal Syndrome is good. After that, not so much. And a couple of those in there, like, I hated. Like, did you guys see The Card Player? Is that, like, as bad as I remember? I remember seeing that once being like, oh my god, this is one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen. But, you know, I love Argento, though. John Smith said, his habit of putting his daughter in nude scenes is just odd. Yeah, it is very. And the weird thing about that's, and I was thinking about it too when I was rewatching Trauma, because she's supposed to be, well, has anorexia or bulimia or something like that in that movie, like it's part of the plot. And so there's a scene of her, and I think she was only 16, and I was like, oh, they had to put a scene in there where she's like in the bathroom, and like the guy who like finds her is like walking by, and she's like taping down her boobs because she like doesn't like her boobs because she wants to be skinny. And I was like, oh, you had to put that in there. And also she gets into this relationship with this dude who's like clearly older, like much older than her, and it's like a little bit weird. And Dario also she also gets raped a lot in movies he directs, including Stendhal Syndrome. I think she gets raped in that twice. So, you know, that's how it is in their family. I don't know. It's a weird. Maybe they don't have the same.
Like fucking Kinski. And
they don't have the same hang-ups, man. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard anything about like, you know, Dario like doing anything bad, and like they seem to get along and everything. But it's just kind of like he had another daughter too, but I thought she died actually. I thought he had another daughter that died. Doesn't he have? He had a daughter named Fiore, right? Mm-hmm. But I thought, am I crazy? Did she die? I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, Mike said I still haven't seen Dark Glasses. I mean, I do want to see it. But, yeah, Mike says Stendhal Syndrome is last great Argento. Yeah. Like I said, I think probably the last great one is Opera, but I'm not going to argue with you about Stendhal Syndrome, because I actually do really like that movie a lot. Hugo said, I always miss like half an hour of the show because commute. I mean, you know, you can always watch it.
Robert says, this channel's real. You don't get along, but you have Raz, whatever Raz is. I don't know what Raz
Respect.
is. Respect. Okay, no, we get along. We get along. We just fight. Doesn't mean anything. Me and Jenny have been together over 10 years. So we're going to fight. That's how it is. We lived together for a long time.
Yeah,
I knew her back when she was...
We're constantly up each other's asses, like, all the time.
I met this bitch when she was married to another man.
This bitch.
I'm gonna say it's my street.
Don't call me a bitch.
Nah, she's cool.
I'm a cunt.
No, I met her. She's married to another dude. We were friends. We were friends when she was still married, and then she divorced the dude, and then we kind of became club partners, where we were fucking hanging out. We were dating other people and shit, trying to get each other hooked up, and then we kind of became business partners and just started hanging out, and then we slowly became a couple over the years.
After everybody kept bugging us about it. It's like, you guys are just, like, together all the time. Why? Like, why are you pretending that
it's not a normal relationship. We were friends before we were in a relationship. Okay? We were friends, real friends. You know.
But I think that's good, though.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of feel like a lot of things about with a lot of people is just kind of like, you know, you get in a relationship with somebody that you're like, I don't know, maybe
you don't
like,
know that dude.
You don't know that person all that well. You're just like attracted to them or whatever, and then like you end up just like, oh my god, I don't even like fucking know this person.
Right.
But, you know.
No, we were friends before we even hooked up, so it's a totally different situation here. So I'll fucking call her out on some shit, and then she'll fuck me up, and then we fuck each other up.
Because we're both mean.
Yeah, we're both mean. We're both mean. Okay.
I think I'm meaner than you are.
Probably.
I think I probably
is. She's meaner.
I'm not physically mean.
No,
I'm not physically mean. I don't do that like that. But I think I have a much like crueler sense of humor.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I think women are generally better at that, are better at that kind of thing, because a lot of times it's like, well, it's not like cool or ladylike to like get into fist fights. So you have to like learn to like fucking wound people in other ways. Yeah. So we get like a lot better at like finding people's like chinks in people's armor and like their little vulnerabilities and stuff.
No, we had a lot in common, and it wasn't the sexually driven relationship from day one. It was just that we fucking liked fucking each other, and we liked a lot of the same things. We had differences, but that didn't have anything to do with us. And it was just, and then we got into business together, and one thing led to another, and we've been together for fucking a long time. It wasn't something that was planned. It just happened. And her ex-husband thought I stole her. I didn't steal her. You know.
See,
she had already broken up.
I never really liked. I don't really like. I know we joke about it sometimes, and we joked about it like at the time, and we tell other people that, but it's just a joke because I don't like that whole idea. You can't steal somebody. It's like, if they don't want to go, they're not going to go.
She was with him for about a decade.
14 years.
14 years, right. And it ran its course. You know what I mean? That's a long time.
And the thing about it is, like, I wasn't mad at him. It wasn't It wasn't one of those things where, like, oh, you did something bad and I got pissed at you or anything like that. It was just... Yeah. I don't know, like, it was just, like, after a while, it was just kind of like, I'm kind of sick of this shit.
We're both realistic. 14 years, 10 years, that's a long time to be in a relationship. That's longer than most marriages. Most marriages, 5-6 years. You know. It's just, if it lasts that long, then you had a good run. You know. And me and Jenny, fucking, you know, we still get along. It's business and hanging out, and it's, you know, we're good friends.
I mean, it's
I'm not worried about it.
I mean, it's a good thing because, well, I mean, especially now that I'm working at home. I mean, it used to be I worked outside the house, so I had other shit. But now I'm like in the house pretty much all the time. Right. And Tom is retired, so he's home a lot too. So it's just
on a lawn and cook and
we're kind of like in each other's shit like 24/7. So honestly, like moving to this house has been like a bit better because at least
not as close quarters.
It's not as close quarters because I feel like for a long time, like at the old house, before we set up the office and all that kind of stuff, I was like doing work like on my laptop, like in the bathroom with headphones on and shit like that because we don't really have any room to like. But now it's like I have my own room. He has like a man cave.
Yeah, got a whole downstairs. Got a fucking all kinds of shit.
Yeah, so we have a lot more room to spread out. So we're not like constantly on top of each other. Because like even if you like the person, if you've been married a long time, if you love the person more than anything in the world, everybody needs time to themselves. You need to have time to like decompress and like not. You know what I mean?
And we go out. We got our own friends and shit. So you know what I mean? Fucking it's just. You know what I mean? Fucking, it's not the kind of relationship that I don't think it's all that conventional. To me, it's just normal. I guess that's the way to put it. I guess it's good.
Yeah, well, the thing about it though, I think when you say that it's not conventional, I think that
depends on what conventional is.
Yeah, the thing about it is like a conventional, and I don't even think that's even like relevant nowadays. I think when we talk about conventional, you're talking about like shit from like the old days.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that shit about those kind of relationships are probably like pretty unhealthy.
Yeah, I don't think that worked either.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying basically, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like people should just, like, be able to do their own shit. Like, within reason, obviously. Don't do something to, like, fuck over your partner or whatever, but...
You just don't betray or undermine.
Right. But, you know, you can have your own friends. You can go out and hang out and shit like that. And that's, like, I don't care. Like I said, you can go to the Oasis and hang out. I can go to fucking downtown Sanford and hang out with the girls and shit like that. We're not doing anything.
Right.
Like I said, the most scandalous thing I'm doing hanging out with the chicks is, like, going to the fucking... bookstore looking for I'm like, ooh, you got any good horror novels in here, because I'm a dork, so you know what I mean. But so, and honestly, that's what I'm doing too. It's like it's funny because when you came back in and you thought I was saying something bad about you, I was like, I wasn't really. And you know, when I'm talking to like other people like at the club or something like that, I'm like, you just not even talking about you. I'm like, I'm dorking out about horror movies or some shit like that. Because you don't like to talk about them all day long like I do. Yeah. So when I find somebody that's... So I'll talk to Dimitri about horror movies all day. What are you doing? What was that?
It fell on its own. That was weird, wasn't it?
Ooh. What, you getting mad?
No.
Yeah, something just
Where'd
fell
that come from?
It was just like propped up in there. Okay. So it just like fell out.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. I was in there like a few days ago because I was looking for something. But that was like several days ago.
That's weird.
That was several days ago.
Yeah.
Well, don't make shit fall off my walls again because other day he got mad and made my Profondo Rosso poster fall, and it's good a thing it didn't break because there's a lot of breakable shit like in the path. You know what I mean? He needs to stop it with the poltergeist shit. He's gonna be breaking my stuff, and I'm not gonna be happy about it. But yeah. So I talked to Dimitri about horror movies because he is super into horror movies and he likes a lot of the same ones as me. He's real into like Giallo movies and stuff. So I talked to him about that. I have a friend named Brian who's like super, super into Mystery Science Theater. So like every time I see him, I'm like, ooh, you going to like the next Riff Tracks or whatever? Which, like I said, by the way, if you're into MST or Riff Tracks, they're doing a Riff Tracks live on August 18th. And I think it's the sequel to Swamp Thing, which would Return of Swamp Thing? Return something. Yeah, it's the second Swamp Thing movie, which I don't think I've seen. Wait, is that the one with Heather Locklear? Okay, maybe I did see it. That's the one they're doing, August 18th. Let me see. Stranger Things loosely, but yeah, that's right, on the Montauk Project. Well, I think we did a show about that, right? Did I bring that up on the show? Because, yeah. So when did the raunchy bit start? Tom will probably tell you. He's drunk enough. Jack Frost 2 would be a good monster movie review to end Christmas in July, just saying. I mean, we're running out of Christmas movies to do, but did we do Jack Frost? And I'm not talking about Jack Frost, the one... well, there was a Jack Frost with Jeff Goldblum, too. But there was one with The Killer Snowman, which is actually a fucking classic. I love that movie. It's terrible, but it's, like, super, super entertaining. It's meant to be terrible. They knew it was terrible. But it's, like, it's really fun. I don't know if we reviewed that, but we might do it at Christmas this time. Because I feel like we've reviewed, like, all the good Christmas movies, you know? Like, all the good Christmas horror movies. So now we're going to have to, like, go with, like, the shitty ones. I don't know if I've seen part 2, though. Glenn says, so when did the raunchy bits start? Tell us more.
What raunchy bits?
The raunchy bits.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing's raunchy.
I thought you would jump right into that.
Nothing's raunchy. Nothing was raunchy.
You're no fun.
I don't know what she's talking about.
I'm pretty sure that's he. Glenn Little. You're not really listening, are you?
No, I just jumped in.
John Smith says, speaking of horror films, today I bought the novelization of Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem. You know, I still haven't seen that movie. Because I feel like, I don't know, one of these days I'll sit down and watch it, but it seems like one of those movies that people are really, really love it or really, really hate it. And I'm very hit or miss on Rob Zombie. Like, I liked House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects and all of that. His Halloween remake can kiss my ass. Other than that, we saw 3 from Hell, right? Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. But I still haven't seen Lords of Salem. I don't know. I like Rob Zombie. He's cool. Like, he seems like a cool person. Every time, like, I see him talking about horror movies, like in documentaries and stuff, he's very knowledgeable and he seems like really geeky about it, which is cool. But like I said, his movies are hit or miss for me. Like, I either really, really like them, or I'm just like, really fuck that. But that's why I'm so ambivalent about the Monsters thing. It could go either way. It could be the best thing ever, and it could just be like an updating of the show, and it's like super fun. Or it could be like a massive, massive disaster. And I'm really not sure how I feel about how it's going to come out. You know? I can't really tell from the trailer. I can't really tell. I mean, you should probably watch the trailer and let me know what you think, because I was just I'm sitting there like thinking about it.
Trailer to what?
The Monsters.
Oh, okay.
The new Rob
I haven't
Zombie
seen
one.
it yet.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Just very, very strange.
How long have we been streaming?
2 hours and 10 minutes.
Okay.
2 hours and 10 minutes. Not that long.
That hasn't been that long.
No. Hugo says, yeah, Heather's in Swamp Thing too. Okay, so I did see it. Because I remember Adrienne Barbeau was in the first one, because we covered that not too long ago.
Were her boobs in it too?
Well, I'm assuming, unless she left them at home.
Oh, I don't know. Cause
I left them in my other shirt.
Whenever Adrienne Barbeau shows up, the boobs were usually there. See, that was the thing. See,
Usually. Not always.
No, not always.
Like I said, sometimes she left them in her other coat.
Up, sometimes then she showed them right.
She left them in her other coat.
Fucking Adrienne Barbeau.
I mean, you know what? Now every time like you come in my office to ask me something, like, did you bring your dick with you, or did you like leave it?
Yeah.
Did you leave it in your other pants?
No, that's fucking funny.
Detachable penis. Do you guys remember that song?
But we know what.
Do you guys remember that song?
We know what we're talking about, because there are Adrienne Barbeau movies that include her boobs, or Adrienne Barbeau movies that don't include her boobs. It's true.
I thought pretty much all of them included her boobs.
No, some of them don't. Fucking the best Adrienne Barbeau and her boobs movie was fucking Escape from New York. Her boobs were there the whole time.
Are you saying they should have got their own credit?
They should have got their own credit. Exactly.
Starring Adrienne Barbeau and her
boobs.
Boobs.
And then the boobs get the
It'd be
Oscar.
cool if like each boob had their own name.
Yeah. The boobs get 2 Oscars.
And then the little band on the Oscar thing also has boobs.
Yeah.
And then there are 2 of them. We have like a whole like scenario that we've come up with. I kind of like this scenario though. She does have nice boobs.
Yeah.
She didn't
I think they were natural.
She didn't show her boobs in The Fog, did she?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She did kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
She did kind of. What else was she in that she showed her boobs in? Probably so. Creep Show. I don't think she showed her. She didn't show her boobs in Creep Show.
No,
did she?
I don't think so.
That doesn't matter though, because Creep Show is still like one of the best movies ever. Sorry, fight me. Easily though. I mean, it's the best horror anthology movie, and I don't think it's ever going to be topped. Although I've seen like some other really good ones. I love horror anthology movies, but I think that's the best one. Katie says, "Has Tom seen the trailer for the new Predator movie called Prey?"
Yes, I have, and it looks good. It looks good.
When's that coming?
Me and Little Swole keeps sending me fucking clips, updates. Oh, I think it's going to be good, man. I think it's going to be good. And we're hoping that it's going to be really good. Because I think they're taking that down the direction that Predator has to go. Okay? There's a bunch of things that work or don't work with Predator. What works with Predator, it has to be kind of a fucking forest or jungle environment. In the city environment, it didn't work. Okay? You already did futuristic shit. You already did shit on another planet. So now they're going to do it back Native American style in America. Back in the 1700s or 1500s. And you're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go there. The Predator story can be told there. But we got to see how they tell it and how it goes. Is it believable? Is there a lot of suspense in it? A lot of action? What are the fucking Predators or Yaotas? I forgot what they were called. What are they like? What were they like in that era? They couldn't have had the same weapons. That was fucking 300 years before. So let's see. But based on the teasers that I've seen, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I'm going to say, yeah, it looks good. What do you think? You think it looks good? I think it looks good.
John Smith said, speaking of Adrienne Barbeau, anyone else remember the sadly short-lived TV show Carnival? I remember hearing about it, but I don't think I ever saw it. Lioness Warrior said Cannonball Run, she showed her boobs the most.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We've been meaning to rewatch that. I kind of felt like we were going to get around to rewatching that back when we were in our Smoking the Bandit, like, Burt Reynolds phase.
Yeah.
Remember that, like, a while back when we were doing all the movies? We were watching all, like, those fucking movies. John Smith said Creepshow has the youthful Joe Hill. That's right. Yeah, he played the kid in there. That's Stephen King's kid. And he's a novelist now. Well, he's been a novelist for a very long time. And actually, I read Horns, and I read, what was the other one that he did? Heart-Shaped Box, and one of the other ones. Not Nosferatu. I haven't read that yet. I know they made a TV series out of that. But yeah, I mean, you can tell that he's Stephen King's son. He's got a similar writing style, but he's got his own thing going on. So I think that's pretty cool. Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin, 2021 is a pretty good witch cult ghost demon monster film. I liked the first Paranormal Activity, but I haven't seen any of the other ones. Like, I liked the first one, but not enough to, like, see any of the other ones. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a huge found footage fan to start with, so... But that was one of the better found footage ones, gotta say. But I didn't see any of the other ones. Lion X Warrior also says, talking of Salem, Salem's Lot with James Mason and David Soul from Starsky and Hutch. Yeah, we covered that not too long ago. Yeah. Well, and no, actually it was a long time ago. Because you have that on Blu-ray, do you not?
Which one?
Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
The original Salem's Lot.
I got it on Blu-ray. It's good.
I really like that. I thought they were...
Great made-for-TV movie.
I thought they were remaking that.
Well, they've remade it already.
Well, I know that.
They're going to have to make another one. Yeah.
Yeah, Prey does look pretty good, though, says John Smith. Okay.
Who said that?
John Smith said that.
Yeah, to me,
I haven't seen the trailer, so I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty good. We're going to see.
I mean, hopefully.
I mean, Terminator's dead. They fucked that franchise up. They didn't know what they were dealing with. You know? They didn't know what... It's strange that the people that make the original good ones don't really know what made those movies great. Although some people... What mitigates my complaint is that... Excuse me. There are some guys from some other channels that really have studied this. One of them be Midnight's Edge. Directors have half-lives. They're best when they're young and idealistic and fucking have a lot of energy. As they get older, the shit that they make, even great names, starts to go downhill. The only guy that really kind of fucking kept his heart on over the fucking years would be Kubrick. Kubrick was always good. Even his last films, like Eyes Wide Shut, were good, real good. But a lot of directors don't make it over time, and Cameron's one of them.
Well, I kind of feel like the thing about it is that the directors that I can think of that didn't really lose their mojo, if you want to say that, like Kubrick and David Lynch and stuff like that, who's still around, like because they were weird to start with, and then they just got weirder and weirder.
Right.
Kubrick, not so much. I feel like his stuff was maybe not as weird like later.
He was good though.
But his stuff didn't suffer. But he was kind of like his own thing, and like I said, David Lynch is his own thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of the way to go. If you're gonna go that way, I kind of feel like directors having half-lives, that might have something more to do with more mainstream films or things that are kind of like bigger. You know what I mean?
Because even Carpenter made great films up until around his last real good one would have been The Thing. And I think what happened in The Thing is because The Thing got its ass kicked by E.T.
What about Christine?
Oh, that was
83. That was after.
But yeah, it was good. But there's something about I think Carpenter.
Oh, and They Live, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And that was 87, 88.
Good. Yeah, but it wasn't as good as The Thing.
Well, very few movies are as good as The Thing, I'm going to say.
I always had this kind of feeling that Carpenter really got his ass kicked because he didn't get the recognition he should have had or should have gotten by The Thing.
Well, that was his passion project, and it was an amazing movie.
Right.
And he knew it was an amazing movie, but it took people a long time to like realize it.
And then
and he got a little bummed out.
The next 3 or 4 movies were good, but they weren't as good as The Thing. And then after that, it's almost kind of like he checked out, like fucking The Thing with Ghosts of Mars. I don't even think he really directed that. I was like, really? I mean, just he started to do schlock. Just saying. Cameron was like that. Okay? Cameron did some really cool shit. Aliens or Alien 2. I'm going to call it Alien 2 just to spite him. Because he doesn't like that. Aliens is fucking a great movie. And fucking, he did a lot of work on on a bunch of movies. I even liked fucking Alita Battle Angel. I thought it was great. I don't think he directed that, though. I think he produced that. Didn't he?
I don't remember.
But he's just over time, just kind of like they don't give a fuck. I mean, they got all their money. You know, they got money now. They don't really give a shit, I don't think. I think they make their money and then they stop giving a shit. And that's kind of what happened with Terminator. Terminator 2 was, some people say, the best action movie. I doubt that. I think fucking Terminator 1 was the best of the Terminator movies. Terminator 2 was very good. Terminator 3 was okay. And then it just fell apart. Okay. They made a lot of mistakes with Terminator. It's a dead franchise. But had they watched their P's and Q's and done it right, Terminator could still be alive today. But they made a lot of novice mistakes. They never should have fucking given a face to fucking Skynet. There's a bunch of shit they should have never done. It's best to keep people in suspense. Don't explain everything. Don't show everybody everything. Don't, Although there was that one, what was the Terminator movie that had the damn fucking Terminator motorcycles in it? It had I think it was Guy Pearce that was in it. I kind of liked that one. Parts of it.
I don't remember.
Terminator Salvation.
I don't think I saw that.
Terminator Genesis. I forgot. I don't remember what they are. But parts of that were good, but they're just telling too much. You're showing too much.
Well, and we've said this multiple times. Yeah. I think that when you're making movies in the same universe or the same franchise, I think they kind of get to a point where it's just kind of like, well, we have to like explain this or that, or we're not going to have like a story. Yeah. And I think that really like is generally to the story's detriment. I mean, unless the mythology is so broad that you can kind of expand it a lot of things without over explaining shit. But I mean, horror, sci-fi, stuff like that, I think that works better like the less that you explain. Like, let people fill their own blanks in. People are stupid, but they're not that stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can figure shit out. And especially like nowadays, with all of the movies, video games, everything they have nowadays, like, people are a lot more sophisticated about their entertainment and are able to follow like really complex storylines and shit like that. So it's just kind of like, I really think that you don't need to spoon feed the audience. You don't need to over explain anything. You don't, like, people will figure shit out. If they can't figure shit out, they'll be like, this is dumb, and they just like won't watch it, and fuck those people. It's just let people figure shit out on their own. It's like a lot more, it's a lot more rewarding experience.
One of the best series for sci-fi, multi-movie series, was Back to the Future. Some people say, well, 3 wasn't that good. No, 3 was good too. When you get older, and watch fucking Back to the Future 3, no, it makes a lot more sense. I didn't like it that much when I was younger. But now that I see it now, Back to the Future 3 was fucking super good. Because it wrapped a lot of stuff up about Doc. That's how you make a long series. That thing was heavily intertwined, but it was credible through the whole thing. It didn't break character. It was Back to the Future, through the whole thing. And they could have done that with a Terminator series if it was written right, but it just wasn't written right. You know what I mean? Hacks are writing. That's what I'm saying. Could have done a lot better.
John Smith said Cronenberg's latest movie was pretty good. Yeah, it was. Good. We liked it. I actually quite liked the new Cronenberg.
Yeah.
which is called Crimes of the Future, by the way.
Crimes of the Future. Pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Like I said, if you're going to be like that... Well, I mean, Cronenberg is kind of known for being weird anyway. It's just like, be weird, man. Mm-hmm. Just get weirder as you get older. I know it's hard because most people tend to, like, kind of ossify as they get older, but you really got to, like, fucking rage against the dying of the light, man. Just get weirder as you get older. Gramthars says, my Bunyan tells me Robert Eggers will be making good stuff for a while. He's still pretty young, though. I mean, he's really only on, what, his third, fourth film? So, and all of his shit so far has been good. So, hopefully he's got, like, a few more, like, good films in there.
Danny says that fucking 3 was the best one because they actually went back in time in the car. 3, I thought Back to the Future 3 was great. I liked them all. I could watch any of those. And then right alongside the fact that Back to the Future series, I could watch fucking The Frighteners. A very similar kind of movie, a paranormal version. Michael J. Fox and everything, the ghosts and especially the director's cut. The director's cut of The Frighteners is fucking great. I recommend it to anybody. And really, based on the weird shit that's happened to me in my life of fucking seeing poltergeist phenomenon, fucking out of body and near death experience, I fucking put my money in with fucking Frighteners as being a kind of like the way things really is. And then of course you got
Jeffrey Combs.
You got Jeffrey Combs in there, fucking doing it.
Who makes everything better?
Doing an epic fucking fucking Agent Danvers from the fucking FBI. Fucking
he's so weird. I love him.
Yeah, epic.
I love it.
Epic. Danvers.
He's one of those guys, and it makes me so sad that like guys like that, it's like him and Brad Dourif and Bruce Campbell, and like people like that aren't really recognized. Like in the horror community, these dudes are like legends, but I kind of feel like they don't really ever get the recognition they deserve. So I'm like, every time I will see a movie just because Bruce Campbell is in it, or just because Jeffrey Combs is in it, or just because Brad Dourif is in it, because those dudes are just so fucking awesome. They make every single thing even if the movie is shitty, they make every single thing they're in better.
Combs was great in both Star Trek fucking series. In fucking Star Trek Enterprise, where he played fucking General Shran. One of the greatest Star Trek characters of all times was fucking Andorian General Shran, Jeffrey Combs. He was an alien Patton, General Patton. Badass. And then did some great shit and fucking with the Jim Hadar, where he fucking played the Jim Hadar fucking high leader priest type deal. He did a great stuff that he did in that, which was great because it was kind of Lovecraftian, both of those characters, especially the Jim Hadar guy that he played, where he's dealing with fucking 5-year-old fucking clone alien clone warriors that could grow to full size in 5 years, and fucking they were dead at 10 years old and shit, and he's running them, and fucking it's crazy. Yeah, it's cool, real cool.
Well, he was in, because I kind of feel like, well, Jeffrey Combs gets asked to be like in a lot of Lovecraftian stuff, obviously, because he was in Reanimator. But he was in one called Necronomicon, right?
Yeah, Necronomicon was great.
And actually, I really liked that. It's like an anthology.
You can see it free on YouTube, Necronomicon.
Yeah.
I don't think they licensed it right, but it's a great movie. Practical effects, crazy shit happens in it.
Yeah, I had a good time with that.
Yeah, Necronomicon was good.
It doesn't really get brought up much when you talk about kind of like Lovecraftian movies, but I actually really liked it.
Had that big lip motherfucker my ex-wife was in love with. What was his name?
The big motherfucker.
Big lip motherfucker. Big lip pretty motherfucker.
The big lipped pretty motherfucker.
Big lip pretty motherfucker. He was the one that we were talking about. He was in that,
I know, but I can't remember.
He was in the movie. Oh, shit.
Danny Rowling said David Warner was in that film, wasn't he?
Which one?
Necronomicon? Maybe.
I don't think so.
Or wait a minute.
I don't think so.
I don't know if he's talking about... Oh, hold on. He has another comment here. Danny Rowling says, Jeffrey Combs in 2009, Night of the Living Dead Reanimated is funny as fuck and a good zombie film in the Night of the Living Dead franchise. Oh, you know what? I think I need to see that.
We gotta see that one.
Dee Wallace is also in The Frighteners. She's great. Yeah, and I kind of feel like Dee Wallace is another actor that happened to. It's like she's kind of like... I'm sure she's been in some other stuff too, but it's like people know her because of like Cujo and The Howling and stuff like that. But it's like she's so great, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like outside of the horror community, like, no one cares, and it's like, that makes me really sad.
I got a huge soft spot for the Frighteners. I'm a big fan of it.
I'm telling you, and I think I told you this before.
Oh, if you got money. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Sly.
Thank you, Sly. Sly, you showing up. All right, give him.
If you like the Frighteners, then you would probably like this movie that came out in the, I think it was 2013 or 2016, I can't remember, but it was called Odd Thomas. Yeah. And it was, it had Anton Yelchin, who, you know, he passed away like really young, like in this weird freak accident. But it was kind of like a similar, it was not exactly the same, but it's like a similar setup. It's like a guy that can kind of like see ghosts and like sort of like these demons or like these energy type things. And it's, I think you would be, it's kind of like a horror comedy, and it's like an action comedy. I think you'd really be into it. Like, I watched it for my show, like for Flickers of Fear, and I really, really dug it. And like when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, this is like kind of similar to the Frighteners, so you would probably like really like it.
Yeah, oh man, they're doing Jeffrey Combs fucking Agent Danvers fucking quotes. Is, you are invading my territorial bubble. Yeah. And he goes, the real freaky stuff. Yeah,
I love him so much. Movie. I love him so much. He's like so awesome.
Yeah.
Because, well, I just,
yeah,
like I said, this is why I love horror and I love the horror community. It's like somebody like that kind of weird ass shit. Yeah. It's like you can do that and people just like love you forever. You could like next 20, 30 years you can show up at a horror convention and everybody will just be like fawning all over you just because of that one fucking
What was
movie.
the name of Jeffrey Combs' character in Star Trek fucking where he played the Jem'Hadar? I don't want to call him a priestess, but he was kind of like a priestess, and he was the one that was fucking making the eggs and fucking growing the Jem'Hadar warriors and giving them their rewards and their sacraments. They were giving them like it was a drug-like food that he was giving them, and they grew to full size within a year, and they only lived like 5 or 6 years before they died. They were just some kind of clone warriors that he used. It was like that whole race of aliens was like a caste system, and he was one of the ones that made sure that you brought these fucking eggs into fucking, so they gave birth and you fed them. I don't remember what his name was, but they were all the same. He himself was a clone, so he could get killed in the episode, but Jeffrey Combs would still appear because he was a clone. There was fucking millions of them. It was a great concept. I just don't remember what the name of that
Wouldn't that be
was.
Wonderful if there were millions of Jeffrey Combs?
There was millions of them, and they were alien Jeffrey Combs. He was in his alien outfit.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what the name of that
character was. Maybe you should just like clone a whole bunch of copies of like the cool people and then just like let the other people just like die natural deaths.
They'd kill one of them.
And then everybody would be cool.
They'd kill one of them in one episode, then he'd show back up. Fucking.
Hey, there's another one of me.
Yeah, Captain Sisko would be like, I thought we killed you. Oh, no. That was another one.
We've got lots of spares.
We got lots of us.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't remember what that guy was called, though. Yeah.
Zach says, my taste in films are stuff that's kind of arty, edgy, experimental, and dark. Yeah, I do too. I like that stuff too. And movies like that are both hard to find and not mainstream successful anymore. It's why I love 70s ones. Yeah, I mean, I have like pretty broad taste. Like, I'll watch pretty much anything within reason. You know, but I mean, obviously I have certain proclivities. I really like horror movies. I really like experimental. So the 70s is my favorite decade, but... to be honest with you, I've seen a lot of really, really, really good movies like in the last 10, 15 years.
Blairdo said Way On. I don't know if that was his name. Way-In. I don't know if that was his name. He said he just discovered Klaus Nomi. And the Nomi. Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Klaus Nomi, that's all hat for us, man. Fucking, yeah. He's good. He died. He died of AIDS.
Yeah, he died young.
Died of AIDS, of young. But no,
it's so funny how it's funny to me how there's a great documentary, I think you mentioned it, called Nomi Song.
Yeah.
And it's funny how like back in the day, you know, after the explosion of punk and then you had post-punk, so everybody was like doing like real experimental shit, and he comes out and essentially mixes new wave and opera.
Yeah.
Because he was an opera singer. And people just had no fuck. And he also was real into like Dada and like surrealism and stuff. And so like he'd come out in like these fucking crazy outfits and stuff. And so you would think like Like, back then, that, like, blew people's fucking minds. Like, nowadays, people wouldn't care. But it's like, back then, nobody had done that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, yeah, I really like Klaus Nomi, actually. So if you haven't seen Nomi's Song, it's a really good documentary. Speaking of which, Shudder just added a 2.5-hour documentary about Gwar. And we watched it last night. I don't want to talk too much about it because we might do it for the movie retrospective on Sunday. But I had a really good time with it. It was surprisingly touching. Yeah,
it's good. It's a good documentary, good story.
It's a surprise
about Gwar.
Yeah,
which is a fucking crazy ass fucking band. I remember seeing flyers for Gwar when I was up in Detroit.
I thought you had seen them live. I saw them live. I never saw them live. I had lots of times. Every time they came through Orlando, me and my brother and our friends would go see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got covered with fake blood and other fluids lots of times. Lots of times. But yeah, it's a good time. But I really liked they got, I mean, other than the original members that died, which they get into, but they had like a lot of the original members. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just like a fun punk rock DIY story. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was actually like I said, it was weirdly like heartwarming.
It was good.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. And like I said, it was like 2.5 hours, but it didn't seem like it.
Yeah.
It just kind of flew by. They're talking about John Waters' film Serial Mom, which, yeah, I agree, is awesome. Although I haven't seen it in a very long time. I remember liking it a lot. Ricky Lake was in that when she was younger.
Berto said that he said that Jeffrey Combs also played a Ferengi on Deep Space Nine. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I forgot about it. They would call him in at any moment to do some stuff.
He's always on call.
He was good. Yeah, he still is good. He's doing a tour, live plays where he'll do.
Well, he does Edgar Allan Poe. Right?
Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah.
Is he still doing that?
Evidently.
I would mind seeing that if he was ever around here.
He's a real good online guest too. I've called.
Yeah, we were watching him on like somebody's podcast one time.
We'd like to have him on. We could probably get him on and talk to him. But he drinks when he's online. And fucking tells us stories.
We'd all drink and then we'd all get in a big fight.
Yeah. He was talking to some guys that had props from the old movies that he was in, and he was blown away that somebody had the resonator. The resonator was from Beyond.
Yeah.
And he's talking to the guy, and he goes, "Yes, I have the resonator." He goes, "You have the resonator?" Like, yeah, I have the resonator.
Yeah,
and
it's right here.
Yeah. Combs can't believe that the movies he was in are fucking iconic. He really can't believe it.
But see, that's what's so cool about it.
You have it? And he's like, "Yeah, I have it."
Because if he was like some big,
you have the resonator.
If he was some big, like fucking Tom Cruise motherfucker, then like they'd be like, well, of course, I'm awesome, so of course everybody has my stuff because I'm the best person ever. Yeah. But it's just kind of like the cool thing about, and I know that like if you're a working actor, it probably kind of sucks if you get if you want to use the word ghettoized into horror. They're like, man, I'm never gonna get like well known. I'm never gonna like get rich or anything like that. Which maybe they don't. But hopefully they have there's some consolation in the fact that the horror community, if you're in a really good horror movie, people will just love you forever.
They'll never forget you.
And you can live on that shit forever.
Yeah, you'd be signing shit at the fucking...
like 20 years from now. You could be like fucking 80, 90 years old, and people be lining up.
Yeah.
And they'll have your face on the shirt and shit like that. And it's like, I know... Well, because we were talking about this the other day, because remember the Shat... And remember, he got kind of like sick of going to like Trekkie conventions and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, but I can see how that would get old. But on the other hand, a lot of people who are actors, one, never make it. Most actors never make it. Two, even if you do make it, a lot of them never land that iconic role that everybody remembers. I mean, can you imagine being the dude that was Captain Kirk or, or whatever it was? So it's like, I know that it's like a double-edged sword. But, you drinking my drink now? You got a drink.
It was mine.
You got a drink. You got the Jethro jar.
I got control over all the alcohol anyway.
Oh, okay, yeah. You run everything. I get it. Well, I mean,
I got the control over all. I'll make us all the drinks you ever fucking wanted.
Okay.
It's not like I'm stealing.
No, I just thought it was funny. I thought you were just being like.
No,
cheeky.
I'm listening to what you're saying. I
just thought you were being cheeky, like I'm gonna drink out of your drink because that's how I roll. I thought that's what.
Now
you were
I was getting into what you were saying, and I was. Just
no, but I'm just like, but it's a double-edged sword because it's like, if you're an actor that never really made it, or just kind of like wallowed around and sort of like, oh, you're that guy, and like nobody ever remembered your name, and you never got to be a star or anything. But then on the other hand, if you had a role that was so iconic that you couldn't get another role after that because it's like everyone identified you with that. That's bad too. But in a way, I don't know. I think that you should probably appreciate that.
Yeah. Because
most people would give their fucking back teeth to be that famous.
Yeah. That woman from Friday the 13th Part 1 who was in all those. She was the one that played Jason's mom.
Betsy Palmer.
Betsy Palmer was in all these fucking highfalutin movies back in the 60s and 50s and shit. She's not remembered for any of that. She made her living towards the end.
You're Jason's mom.
Jason's mom. Okay, she went to all the horror conventions and made a living off of being Jason's mom. And she
seemed mystified by the whole affair.
I did all these fucking high-level movies and nobody remembered. Yeah, that shit's all gone. Those fans are all dead. You know what I mean? Fucking, and, no, it's all gone. You were Jason's mom from fucking Friday the 13th. And she
be happy with that.
And she's famous for that, and she made a living off of that in her final years.
She didn't get it, but...
She didn't get it, but she took the money. She took the money.
She didn't get it.
Well, she came from a generation where horror was fucking schlock, and that's bullshit, but those days are over.
I'm glad those days are over. I mean, the thing about it, and I remember, because it's only been fairly recently, like in the last couple of decades, that horror has actually been considered like, a genre worthy of something other than scorn and derision.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like prior to that, if you were into horror up until probably like the 80s or 90s...
It was ridiculed.
Yeah, people were just kind of like, oh, that crap, that trash that you like. You know what I mean? It was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, their movies, none of them are real.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but they're fun and they're entertaining. So get that stick out your butt.
And here's something that you need to learn. People didn't change their minds. People died. Yeah. That's what made the difference.
Well, that's the people that, sadly, that's usually what kind of has to happen. But then that
throughout history, that's what happens.
Goes back to what I was saying before. Is that most people when they get old,
they just die.
Their views get very ossified.
Yeah.
I've really tried to like not let that happen, but it's like a lot of people do kind of let that happen.
That was the older generations that are like that, though. What happened is that our grandparents' generations were very much in the box. They were like something from another country. And things had to be a certain way. They never changed. They died. And when they died, they were replaced with other people that didn't think
that weren't that fucked up.
They weren't like that. And here's the thing. That's the way it's always been for fucking thousands of years.
Well, yeah.
It's a cycle.
Like I said, it's not even... You're not even the first person to have pointed that out. Yeah. Like, I remember reading that, like, a long time ago.
They don't change, they die.
Yeah, people don't usually change, like, when they get older. Like, the old people with the stupid old ideas, like, die off. And
they die off, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about that...
The reason why the world is round is because the people that believed it was flat died. They didn't change their minds. They died thinking the world was flat. That's the example I'm giving you. And that is true. That's true. The flat earthers.
Although I think that flat Earth, I think that was not as widespread as we've been led to believe. I don't think most people believe that the world was. I don't know if it was most people, but I don't think it was as widespread as people. I don't think everybody believed that. But yeah. No, I was thinking about that because remember I was talking earlier about that girl that has the goth channel and she was talking about, and I was talking about like the talk shows and stuff. I just remembered that she was talking about having a job interview in the early 90s. I think it was like the early 90s. And she said she looked like pretty normal. Like, nowadays you wouldn't like bat an eyelid. But the interviewer got all hung up because she had blue nail polish. Yeah. And I laughed because I was kind of like, I remember... Back in the old... It's like funny to think about now because every fucker wears what it's like. I've seen like fucking... moms on YouTube wearing blue nail polish.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s and 90s, you wore some weird, like you had black nail polish or blue or something like that. Everyone thought that was super weird. You didn't even have to like look that fucking weird otherwise.
Yeah. Now Sly said I just found out that the Reanimator was based upon H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, it's Lovecraft.
Yeah, Herbert West Reanimator.
Right.
That's the name of the story.
It was just based on.
I mean, it's loosely based.
Lovecraft mentioned him. I don't think he never stated the story out of what had happened. He just, in one of his stories, he mentioned Herbert West and his ability to fucking bring people back to life from death. And that was about it.
Well, no, there was a story called Herbert West Reanimator.
Oh, was there? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought that was about it. Is that it was
No,
just
it was a story.
Okay.
Actually, it might have been a novella, actually,
Was
now
it?
that I'm
All
thinking about it.
Probably not, because I haven't read everything from H.P. Lovecraft.
It's not. It's very loose. It's very loosely based. Okay. I mean, the character's kind of similar, but not exactly the same. It's pretty loose.
Because the only Lovecraft story I only read 2 of them. Call of Cthulhu, which I don't think was a full-size book, if I remember correctly.
Well, he didn't really write. I mean, I think the only novel he wrote was
In the Mountains of Madness. I read that one.
Most of his stuff was like novella length or short stories. That was his preferred.
I thought Reanimator was just mentioned in another story.
No, there was a story called Herbert West Reanimator.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I have a whole book back there.
All right. How many pages are we talking?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know.
Not long though, huh?
It was longer than some of his other stuff because he had a tendency to like write. Well, because he wrote for Weird Tales a lot, so he wrote like pretty short stories, like only a couple pages. But Herbert West Reanimator, I remember was like kind of longer.
All right.
It was a bit longer.
Now they do have a couple of other like fan-made movies that are pretty good. Color Out of Space, which came out recently.
Yeah, with Nicolas Cage.
With Nick Cave is
not Nick Cave. Nicolas Cage. It's two completely different. Those two completely different.
See this
people.
bitch fucking with me. Okay.
What? I'm correcting you.
Nicolas Cage. I've been drinking.
I'm technically correct with this, which is the best kind of correct.
Yeah. Trying to think of another Lovecraft movie.
Dagon. Which was actually based on
Horror Out of Innsmouth, right? Horror from Innsmouth.
Yeah, or whatever. But yeah, it's not. Well, he did write a story called Dagon, but the movie is not an adaptation of Dagon. It's based on what you said.
Horror Out of Innsmouth,
or whatever that Innsmouth story is called.
I think is what it's called.
Now you're like distracting me because
I'm fucking you.
Yeah. Dagon is the best Lovecraft adaptation with the wrong title.
Yeah. If y'all want to see a good Lovecraft movie, see Dagon. I got it on Blu-ray.
I mean, to be honest, order. I kind of feel Dagon. Like I really liked Dagon. Well, Dagon to me, I mean, having read Lovecraft, Dagon to me felt the most like a Lovecraft story. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of Lovecraft adaptations, as much as I like them, don't seem like have the same vibe as his stories to me.
And they got a character in there that's you look at
Shadow over Innsmouth.
Shadow over Innsmouth. That's right.
That's what I mean. You kept confusing me. I'm like, what?
Shadow.
Because I kept thinking horror at Red Hook. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Dagon is real similar to Shadow over Innsmouth.
Well, it is Shadow over Innsmouth. Okay. But like I said, he has a story called Dagon. Yeah. But this movie is not an adaptation of that. It's actually an adaptation of Shadow over Innsmouth. With a little bit of Dagon in there.
One of the main character in it, when you look at the dude, you know that's supposed to be fucking my boy fucking Jeffrey Combs. But Jeffrey Combs would have been a little bit too old because he was supposed to be a kid in college.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like college.
Supposed to be in college. So
at Miskatonic.
Yeah, from Miskatonic University. and fucking he would have been a little bit too old. So they cast another guy who's a lot like him, But the movie's fucking awesome. A lot of cool shit happens. Some scenes got cut where they were cutting that Spanish guy.
Cutting him in half.
Yeah, when they were cutting him up.
Or they were skinning him. Actually, didn't they skin his face off?
Skinned his whole body.
It's still pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
It's still pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
The old drunk guy.
Yeah, the old drunk guy. So
I don't know. I just really did like that movie.
Sly, go stream Dagon. You'll like it. You'll like it. It's a good movie. And they got a cute Spanish chick in there in a wheelchair.
I still want to do that for a Halloween costume one year.
She's this little fucking Spanish chick in the wheel.
I want it like the gold crown and the tentacles and everything.
And she tries to throw.
That'd be so badass.
She tries to throw the poo nanny on a dude, and it turns out she's nothing but tentacles. Yeah, she's Dagon.
Surprise, motherfucker!
That's right. Dagon child. Yeah.
That's seriously, that's my dream Halloween costume. From the second I saw that movie, like several years ago, I was like, oh my god, I have to do that one year. But I don't know. It's just like, I want to do it, but if I do it, I have to do it right. And it's just kind of like, that's going to be super expensive. Because she has like a really specific looking crown. It's gold and it's kind of like this branchy kind of, I don't know, like it's a crown, and she has this cool outfit, and she's in a wheelchair, and because I'm assuming she can't walk because she has tentacles. So yeah, so she has tentacles, and I was like, man, how badass would that be? I was like, if we're gonna go to like a horror convention one year or something like that for Halloween, I totally want to do that. But like I said, I need to like spend the money to do it right, because it has to look correct, you know. I'm very into that when I do Halloween costumes. It has to actually look like the actual thing. Even though probably, I don't know, if I went to a horror convention, I kind of feel like people would know what it was. But if I went anywhere else, people are like, what the fuck are you supposed to be? You know, I'm kind of used to that. Whatever. Zach says, I've seen a lot of women in their 60s wearing black nail polish these days. It looks really good on them. I think Isabelle Huppert wears black nail polish a lot too. Yeah. Oh man, Isabelle Huppert. I love her. But yeah, and it's funny to think about now, and I had forgotten about it until she mentioned it, and she's like, "Look, I looked like pretty normal." You know, she's like, I maybe had black clothes on, but I didn't look like gothy or anything. I just had like regular clothes. And the fact that she had blue nail polish, and this job interviewer was like real like hung up about it, like, well, you're gonna have to change that if you want to work here, blah blah blah. And I was like, it's like, and it's crazy to think about that now, but I remember when shit was like that. Because when I was a teenager and in my 20s, yeah, you absolutely, if you wore blue nail polish to a job interview or something like that, people would be like, what? They would think that was the weirdest thing ever, which is bizarre, because it's like, why is blue nail polish any weirder than red nail polish? You could have worn red nail polish and nobody would have batted an eye, but you wear blue and suddenly that's strange. I don't get it. I didn't get it back then, but
yeah, they were weird.
That's what I mean. It's like, it didn't make any sense to me. No. And like, I'm so glad that like the rest of the world like caught up and is like, what the fuck? They're just colors. Like, just, it's bullshit.
How long have we been streaming?
2 hours and 51 minutes.
Okay, 2 hours and 51 minutes. It's almost about time. You want to shut it down?
Well, not
or
really.
You just want to run with that?
No, I want another drink.
Another one? Okay. So you want to go for when? Another half hour? Hour?
I don't know. I'm still having a good time, aren't you? At least you settled down some. DJ Maniac said the worst part would have to be explaining that costume to everyone. I know, and that's the only thing. Because I always have like these... I was at my Halloween fantasies, but I was like, oh my god, this would be the best costume ever. I was like, my aspirational costumes are that, like from Dagon, and what's her face from Flash Gordon. What's her name? Like Kala? That's her name, right? And I was gonna make that, and I even like that year I even like looked into it. I was like, how much would it cost to like make this? Because I was gonna make it. And she has like this really elaborate headpiece with all these like shiny beads and all this other kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, that'd be badass. I'm gonna make that. And like by the time I got it, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna cost like $1,000. I'm like, I don't have $1,000. But you know, and yeah, that's the thing. And I don't know. I have this weird thing where it's just kind of like, I don't like to wear store-bought Halloween costumes, but if I'm gonna dress like something from a movie or something like that, I want it to be something that like not everybody does too. I really, really don't like dressing like, but it's like a double-edged sword, because it's like, I don't want a Halloween costume that everyone's like, oh, you're Pennywise. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like, oh, you're, you know, whatever the fuck. It's like, you know what I mean? I don't want to be something that everybody knows what it is immediately. I kind of want to be a costume where you're going to have that one person come up and go, holy fucking shit, and they know exactly what you are. And everyone else is just kind of like, what the fuck are you supposed to be? I don't know. It's a curse. I don't know what it is. Zach says, I just Googled Isabelle Huppert. How can a woman who's nearly 70 be that sexy still? I don't know. To be honest, like, I think she is actually one of the sexiest women on earth. I always thought so.
Which one? Who?
Isabelle Huppert.
Who's that?
She's a French actress.
I don't know that.
She's old now.
Is she?
Well, yeah, I saw like a bunch of stuff like of her old stuff like back in the day, and I don't know. There's just something about her that's like really sexy to me. I don't know what it is.
So you'd hit.
Oh yeah, big time.
She'd hit.
Yeah. Hugo says Underwater is Lovecraftian, I think. Oh, that's definitely Lovecraftian.
You haven't seen it, man. Everybody's
Yeah, you have. You've seen Underwater. Underwater. The one with Kristen Stewart.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about the one with the girl who the water creature was trying to screw her. What was the name of that one? Underwater was good. Real Lovecraft.
I was gonna say you've talked about that all the time.
Yeah, I like
that. Is absolutely that had straight up like Cthulhu at the end.
Cthulhu.
Pretty, but they didn't call it that. But that's what it was.
What was the one with the girl who she's trying to have sex with the damn water creature?
The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
I saw it.
I didn't see that one.
I saw it. Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. Yeah, Underwater was fucking great. I loved it.
Guillermo del Toro's Shape of Water. I actually really liked it. I don't know if you'd like it. It's not a horror movie. It's more, well, is it? It's kind of like an updated Creature from the Black Lagoon. So it's like has a little bit of horror element to it, but it's mostly like a weird like romance. Kind of. And yeah, sort of. But I don't know. I really dug it. But I don't know if you'd like it or not. Maybe you would. It's hard to say. Like I said, it's essentially like Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's like if Creature from the Black Lagoon, but the chick was like into the fish man.
Sly says he's going to check out Dagon. Yeah, you're going to like Dagon. I had to order a special Blu-ray release.
It's hard to get.
Well, hard to get.
They made it in Spain. They made it in Spain.
It's in English, and it was recorded in English, but it was made in Spain. And it had a lot of the same people that did Reanimator, if I remember correctly.
Well, even like some of the later Reanimator movies, I think they made that in Spain as well.
You'll like it.
I mean, I've heard mixed reviews. Like some people really, really like it, and some people are like meh. But I don't know.
Liked it.
Dagon to me, like I said, I kind of feel like a lot of the best Lovecraftian movies, like The Thing or The Void or something like that, are not really based on a Lovecraft story, but are just like in the spirit of that.
Yeah.
Like in the Lovecraft universe.
Yeah.
But Dagon, I think, was one of the best straight adaptations of a Lovecraft story that I've seen.
And I think I paid...
Other than the ones that the Lovecraft Appreciation Society does.
Yeah, they do shit too.
Like, but their shit, they actually make it look like an old silent movie, like it came out at the time that the story came out, which I actually really appreciate that.
Yeah, you can.
And those are like actually cool.
They're good too.
Those are actually cool.
They did a good version of Cthulhu, and it's like watching King Kong claymation.
Yeah, they made it all like look like a silent movie, which, like I said, I really admire that. Like, I like when they're like, we don't give a shit if like a million people like watch this or we make all like a kind of money. We just want to make it like this, and this is how we want to make it, and whoever likes it'll like it.
But Dagon, I think I paid $40 for Dagon. And it was a pre-order. It came with a fucking jacket. I think it was a steel book and everything, wasn't it? For my version of Dagon, the Blu-ray version, and it was a special release. It's good, but I think you can stream it. It's probably on Amazon.
Yeah, it seemed like for a while it was like hard to get a hold of.
Yeah,
but I don't know. We'll see.
If you liked Reanimator, Sly, you'll instantly just click right into fucking Dagon. It's so real similar.
I know this is gonna be weird to say, but it smells like a Lovecraft movie.
Yeah.
It's very, very damp.
Yeah, you'll know what you're dealing with.
And it's very fishy.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what I pictured in my head when I was reading Lovecraft stories.
The difference is that in Reanimator, most of the shit's happening indoors. In Dagon, a lot of it's happening outside. On an island. In a city on an island. Or a town on an island. And they've all been turned into fish people.
They're all like kind of pale and they have like big pop eyes and stuff.
They made that deal with Dagon. Okay. They
Worth
made
it
for gold and fish from the sea. To become, and that will make sense after you see it. Gold and fish from the sea. And because they.
Although you kind of sounded like Box from Logan's Run there.
Well, yeah. They fucking made a deal with Dagon. Okay, that if they throw down the old gods and worship Dagon, that they'll get free gold and free fish from the sea. And
sounds like a good deal. I think.
Yeah,
sounds like a good
but they change into fish people.
That's okay.
It's it's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, and then they return to the ocean to be with Dagon.
That's also okay.
Yeah.
Can Dagon guarantee I won't get eaten by a shark?
Dagon can guarantee.
Okay.
That fucking you will not be eaten
down.
by a shark. Yeah.
Where you at, Dagon?
That's right. He was god of the ocean.
I'll take that bet.
That was Cthulhu.
No downside.
That was Cthulhu's god, as far as I know. I think that was fucking...
No downside.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, like, some other... God, what were some other, like, straight adaptations of Lovecraft stories that were good? I mean, Color Out of Space was good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It wasn't great,
Not
but
as good
it was...
as Mandy, but it was good.
Well, yeah, but Mandy wasn't a Lovecraft adaptation.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. But for a Lovecraft adaptation, it was really good. For some reason, like, I don't know, it's kind of like... Lovecraft adaptations, that a lot of them really don't work on the big screen. I guess it's just like the nature of the beast, because Lovecraftian stuff is by its nature supposed to be inexplicable and, like, you know, way bigger than your experience. It's much better when you read it because you can, like, imagine it. Yeah. If you have to, like, sort of confine it by putting it on, like, you know, making a visual of it, then it's not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna be as effective. So I think that you're really kind of shooting yourself in the dick from the get-go.
Yeah. Lovecraft's writing was all about feeling and emotion.
Yeah.
And description.
Well, an implication, and it was like just a hint of like something much larger,
You're right.
And you were just like seeing some big, so it was all like this implication of this much larger thing that was going on, and I don't think that translates all that well to the screen. So I think that that's kind of.
I said I heard Annihilation was based upon.
It is. I mean, loosely. Yeah. It's not based on a Lovecraft story, but it's definitely based on the Lovecraft idea. Because I don't know if you know, but even when Lovecraft was alive, back in the 30s, like the 20s and 30s, he had a whole circle of other writers who wrote in his universe. Like, so they had like extended universe of like August Derleth and people like that. August Derleth actually like published a lot of his stuff like after he died, because he died fairly young. So ever since he was around, and then like shortly after he died, there's been a whole other contingent of writers that wrote in the Lovecraftian universe. And that continues up to this day. I mean, I think every year there's a new horror anthology that comes out that's like Lovecraftian horror, like other people writing in that universe. So that's not a new thing, like the extended universe. So people like are coming up with their own like offshoots of it, because it's just such a vast mythology. You can do so much with it.
You have some young
even Stephen King wrote in that.
Recently, there have been some young people fucking throwing their ass up in the air like, "Oh, don't read him, he's racist." No, read him. He was racist. Read him.
He was racist big time.
Yeah, he was racist against white people.
He was racist even for the time.
Even for the time, okay? Fucking, he was an Anglo-American, and he didn't like Irish people or Irish Americans. He was extremely into xenophobia. If you weren't like him, then shit, man.
He had problems.
Whoo. Well, because of that, that's what made his horror so good. If he wasn't xenophobic or racist,
because he was afraid of everybody.
He was afraid of everybody.
Everybody.
Right. And that's what made his horror so good. He was a man filled with fear.
Yeah.
But as he got older, he changed.
He did chill out a little bit.
He chilled out about it. He was a very shy person.
Very sheltered.
And he didn't know much about the outside world. And that helped him write fucking real creepy horror. I don't know if he'd become kind of more open to other people. I don't know if his horror would have been as good. He didn't. Maybe.
He might have. Well, that's what I mean.
Right.
I was kind of thinking about that, because I was like, well, I don't know if he would have gone in a completely different direction, or it might have become. I mean, the thing about it was that sometimes, I think in his particular case, I don't think this is true of everybody, but I think in his particular case, the reason that he resonated so much and that people still remember his shit nowadays was because of his isolation and he didn't really because he grew up so sheltered and stuff like that, he didn't really have a lot of outside experiences, so a lot of his experiences were internal, it was all like imagination.
His fantasies and his fears
and that was his very singular vision that he came up with. So had he just been like a regular ass person that just had regular ass friends and just did regular ass shit, he might not have come up with like the crazy ass shit that he came up with, because that takes somebody that usually, not always, some completely normal, well-adjusted people have come up with some crazy shit too, but I think that really helped that he was so messed up.
Yeah. Well, part of it has to do with his concept of God. Okay. In the time that he lived, God was a Christian God in the area that he was in. But he rebelled against that. His version of God was an uncaring God, or a God that didn't know about you.
Yeah, it was just like indifferent.
Right. And if that God did know about you, it would hate you. All right. Which that made his stories even better. Okay.
Because that's a pretty horrifying concept. Yeah. I mean, it's less horrifying nowadays, but it was in those days that was a very horrifying concept.
Yeah.
To think that there were gods, but they either hated you or they did not give a single shit about you. Yeah. You were just like ants to them.
Right. And
that was like a really scary thing.
That whole idea was alien for Lovecraft's time. And fucking Lovecraft wrote this shit, and he ended up getting a fan base of people that resonated with them.
And other writers.
Yeah.
That immediately recognized, oh my God, this is something different.
Yeah, maybe the gods do hate us or don't care about us.
I mean,
he even had groupies stalking him.
Yeah.
That he was terrified of them. He was like, oh shit. Because they thought what Lovecraft was writing was real.
Yeah, this
and
is like a real...
And Lovecraft's like, no, these are my nightmares and my fantasies.
Religion.
But he had a fucking cult of followers out in the shadows that thought he was channeling reality. As if he were an oracle. Or H.P. Lovecraft, or L. Ron Hubbard. That he's the source in fucking Scientology. That he knows what's true. So you had people, crazy motherfuckers that thought Nyarlathotep was real. And that fucking Cthulhu was real. And we're looking for Lovecraft to meet him.
Because that bitch knows what's going on.
To merge with the source. And fucking...
Tell us all about the goat with 1,000 young.
Yeah, tell us all about this shit. And fucking evidently and that scared the shit out of fucking Lovecraft. He's like, oh, fuck. He ran in...
Well, like I said, everything scared the shit out of Lovecraft. Yeah. To be fair.
Yeah.
But that's why his horror was so good.
It was another time.
Because he was afraid of literally everything.
Yeah.
He was like a shut-in.
Yeah. From a real uptight family.
From a very, very uptight family. Yeah. He didn't have any normal friends. He was very, very sickly. He was a homebody.
Not real good looking. He was kind of a homely kind of guy. But I would say
he wasn't bad looking, I don't think.
Yeah, he was kind of... He looked like some motherfucker that should be on the money. He should be like on a $5 bill or a $30 bill or something. You know?
I think, he's one of those motherfuckers. Okay. Nowadays, if somebody that came out that looked like H.P. Lovecraft, and they would be... No, this is just like a hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
And they came out and they were just kind of like, oh, girls don't like me because I look like this. Yeah. But I'm like... But the thing about that, though, is that I don't think it's because he looked like that. I think it's because the second you started talking to him, you're like, oh my God, this dude is a racist weirdo.
Yeah.
I think it was that.
But not the thing is...
Because I think he was a perfectly, decent-looking dude. Yeah. I thought he was just normal-looking.
He ended up hooking up with a Jewish chick that fucking loved his work. And
Sonia Green, her name was. Yeah. She was also a writer.
Yeah, and that kind of softened him up because she started introducing him to other people and getting him around.
Plus, she made him move to New York City for a while because that's where. And he freaked out at first. He's like, "Oh my God, immigrants!"
Yeah,
Ew.
Other people.
Ew.
Yeah.
He was like that. Yeah. Like I said, go read Horror at Red Hook.
And the immigrants he's talking about are Italians. Italians and fucking Lithuanians.
Yeah.
Anybody who wasn't
he was very
English.
He was very much
fucking crazy. But here's the thing.
It was crazy.
People also said, based on what I remember, is that once he started talking to you, if he liked you, then a lot of that shit fucking fell away. It was in his imagination. He wasn't a bad person. He was just...
Yeah,
he just
like I said, I don't really think... he was very, very sheltered.
Yeah.
I don't really think he had a lot of experiences outside of his own family. Like, I think he was very coddled. He didn't really have a lot of outside experiences. He didn't meet a lot of people that were different to him.
Right.
So he didn't really have a very wide range of experience.
He didn't have experience.
So it's like everything, like, caused him anxiety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anybody that's like, oh my God, they're like a shade darker than me. Oh dear. Like, what are we
gonna... have an accent.
Like, oh my God, like, what's, this is like a subhuman. It was just kind of like, and he was like, oh my God, where's my fainting couch? It was like that kind of thing. And I think a lot of that was due to his upbringing. Yeah. Because, like I said, like, a lot of people were racist back then, but even by those days' standards, he still kind of stood out. He still stood out.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like I said, read some of his fiction. You'll see. Like, I mean, I've read a lot of fiction from not only his era, but, like, older than that, like late 19th century.
He vilifies and demonizes everyone.
Everybody.
And if race is involved, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Just like you're a fucking monster.
And I'm going to say that, like, you know, I've read a lot of, because I read a lot of horror fiction. I like a lot of horror fiction from, like, the late 19th century, stuff like that, like old ghost stories and stuff. And in those... sometimes, like, you'll be reading them, it's a normal-ass ghost story or whatever, and then there's, like, some very casual racism, and I'm just like, oh, okay, we're going down that way. But it's just kind of like, okay, well, that's kind of like, it's not good, but that was, like, how it was at the time. Yeah. But, so I'm kind of used to that, but even by those standards...
he was fucking bad.
Yeah, like, some of the shit he wrote... if you read the story by, like, through today's eyes, you obviously know what he's talking about.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I remember reading that stuff and instantly recognizing it as somebody who didn't know. All right? It's somebody who's imagining. This is a white dude, like you said, very sheltered and coddled. He doesn't know any of these people.
No.
He's making this up.
Sure.
Okay. So I always thought it was just kind of humorous. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what the fuck you're talking about. That's not how it actually is. So I always laugh at that shit. And if you're fucking not... Okay, first of all, I would be considered fucking Irish American, because most of my fucking bloodlines would be Irish and Scottish and German, okay? Not a lot of English, really, or Anglo-American. Probably Irish, German, Scottish, mostly, from the South. He wouldn't have liked me. He would have thought that I was a subhuman. Okay. He was Anglo. It had to be English. This was some shit up in Massachusetts back in his day.
Like I said, he was very narrow band.
Yeah, it's just like...
he was very narrow
He was racist against white people.
Yeah, against other white people.
Other white people.
Which some people, like, white people were back then. Yeah. Like I said, you know, you had Irish come over here and everybody's like, oh my God, Irish or Italians, which, like I said, nowadays everybody be like, they're just regular-ass white people. But back then, not so much.
Right, but
he was like that, like, times 100.
But his opinions did not come from informed experience. It was
clearly
from not knowing.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So... I always just thought it was fucking funny, but I fucking loved what he wrote. I loved fucking In the Mountains of Madness. That needs to be made in a movie. And evidently Guillermo del Toro was going to make that
He's been trying, like, for years and years.
In the Mountains of Madness,
he's super into
if it was done right, would beat Alien or beat The Thing any day if you did that shit the right way. Because fucking, that was a great movie. Or that was a great book, I mean. Fucking, and if you did it right, you'd make a great movie. But I think you'd have to do it in the past. It couldn't be normal. It couldn't be normal times. It would have to be the 1900s.
Yeah, see, I don't think all the best love, like Dagon is set in present day, but and that works.
Well, 90s.
Sort of, yeah. Well, I mean, present day, like present when it came out.
More or less.
But I kind of feel like most of the best Lovecraft adaptations that I've seen, particularly the ones that Lovecraft Appreciation Society have done, have been set at the time that the stories were set. And I think that that's kind of what you have to do, because there is really something about... I don't know. I just don't think you can modernize it. You can modernize the universe because I have seen other modern Lovecraftian movies like set in the Lovecraftian universe that were very good. But if you're going to adapt one of the stories, I think you have to like set it at the time period. It's not going to be the same otherwise.
Yeah.
Dust Memory says The Beach House is totally underrated Lovecraftian horror. I actually saw that. That was actually really, really good. And I wasn't expecting it to be Lovecraftian, so that was like a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Blearda Dude said, is The Thing Lovecraftian?
Yes.
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 The Thing is actually a Shaggoth from In the Mountains of Madness. If you read that book, Shaggoth was an alien creature that the Great Old Ones had enslaved. It was a mindless amoeba that could be anything they needed it to be, and they used it as a construction creature. And one day it got a hold of a brain. It absorbed an old one, and had the data to make a brain. And then once it had a brain, it shared it with all the other Shaggoth, and they became intelligent. And then they rose up and overthrew the Great Old Ones, and that's how the Great Old Ones fucking up in the North Pole, that's how they were killed. The Shaggoth did it. In other words, the Thing's from the Thing. Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that, like, I think a lot of the best Lovecraftian movies have not been adaptations of his stories, but rather things that are, like, just took inspiration from his stories. You know, but like I said, I kind of feel like if you're gonna do an adaptation of a story, you kind of have to do it like old school, because I think that'd be like better. Zach says, I like to think Lovecraft was on the autism spectrum. He probably was. I mean, if anybody from the past, and I don't really like to mentally diagnose like people from the past,
it was a different world back then. It's hard to say.
But from everything that I've read about Lovecraft, I think definitely nowadays, if he was around nowadays, that would actually apply. Danny Rowling said he kind of had a Mr. Potato Head looking face.
He did.
But he wasn't. But see, like I said,
he kind of had that fucking Slimer mouth where he didn't have much of a lips. He looked like he was constantly.
He didn't have much of an upper lip. But like I said, that's okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't. Like I said, you see pictures of him. He's funny looking, but he's not ugly.
Yeah.
And even if he was ugly, if he was cool, no one would care.
Right.
I don't think he was a bad looking dude. I don't think he was
uncool. I just think that he was fucking.
He was just weird. He was probably weird and off-putting. I would imagine. Well, because he wasn't real. I think he wasn't real socially adept.
No,
I think was the problem.
And he was kind of like probably on the autism spectrum a little bit. Probably.
And that makes things harder because you're just kind of like, well, even if you look okay, and like I said, he looked okay, he looked normal and shit. Yeah. But if you don't really have a lot of experience with people, or you're not real socially adept, then you might come off as like weird, and that's probably like off-putting to a lot of people. And then that's going to reinforce, oh shit, something's wrong with me because they're not responding the way that I think they ought to be responding, and then that's going to make you like go more into yourself, and it's just like a whole like cycle.
Sly mentions it. He says, those narrow band people, they're just kind of funny. Or I don't take them seriously because they don't have any power over you. They can't do anything to you. They're just fucking kind of, I don't want to call them dumb. They have some intelligent people that just don't have enough experience or knowledge or empathy. They don't know how other people live. Or they've been told a bunch of shit when they were young that's kind of set them up for failure. And they believe things that are quaint. They're not true. They think they're true, but then that same dude could come up with some fucking pretty interesting shit. And Lovecraft was like that.
Yeah.
He was like that back in his day. Back in his day, people thought he was strange. So
that should tell you something. Because back then, everybody was kind of fucked up. They had some dumbass opinions back then.
So, no, read his shit. He's a genius. He's a great writer. He's weird. He has a bunch of idiosyncrasies, even by those days' standards. But he's creating some fucking very cool art.
And it resonated with people back in the day, particularly other writers, like I said, because a lot of them immediately picked up on it and started writing in that same.
And I don't, and I can empathize with him. I'm not agreeing. Empathy is not the same as agreeing. I can empathize with what he's saying. I don't agree with what he's saying, but I can see it through his eyes. That's what the job of a writer is to show you another world. And he was good at that.
Well, he totally did that.
And he was punk rock and fucking cyberpunk and all that shit long before that shit existed. He'd come up with some weird ass shit. It was like Alien or Alien 2 and fucking Predator and fucking everything else. He was coming up with some fucking cool shit back in the early 1900s.
Can you imagine? Like, I think H.P. Lovecraft, if you could somehow go back in a time machine and bring him to the modern day and show him how his writing has influenced. I mean, look at all the Lovecraftian shit that's up. There's video games and board games.
He'd be
and
blown away.
Well, see, the thing about it, though, is that I don't really know. He's one of those people where I'm not really sure how he would
be
react.
like, well, of course. But
would he?
But I think he would be like, well, of course. But
I don't think he would, because I think he was also kind of like self-loathing, too. I think...
I don't know. I think he would be, well, of course it was cool what I did. But I think he would be blown away by the present day.
I don't think he would like it. I think he would like crawl into the bed like Pookie does when it's lightning outside.
It depends. Depends on what time you got him.
That's what I'm saying.
Depends on what time in his development you got him.
This is one of the things.
After he was married, I could probably talk sense into him. We could probably take him to the club and he'd probably have a good time.
I don't know. I kind of have a feeling he'd probably just stand there in the corner with his arms like that.
Well, he would, but he's like, oh man. But you could probably.
We should get him drunk and then see what happens.
You could probably.
He might be super fun when he's drunk.
Well, part of that thing that you're talking about is the fear of other people condemning you, and because he's now in the future, nobody's going to condemn him, so he can now do what he wants to do. You know what I mean?
And everyone's just like, I suppose so.
Yeah. So I think
which to me that's a much better way to be. Just leave everybody alone, man. Let them do their thing.
A lot of the dudes from
they're not hurting anybody.
A lot of those dudes from the 1800s and the first half of the 1900s were a product of peer pressure. That was a lot of it. They're afraid of getting canceled.
It might. Well, that's the thing. I kind of feel like this is why I would never, ever, even if I invented a time machine, which I'm way too busy to do, by the way. Even if I did that, I really don't think that I would ever want to go back to any other time period. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, even the time that I grew up, like, in the 70s and 80s, man. Like, yeah, there was some cool shit about back then, but it's like, there was so much, like, shitty shit that it's like, I'm not going back there. Fuck that. No thanks.
People in the future would think that about our time.
Well, I know that, but it's like...
It's just all the same.
I know that, but it's just kind of like... I don't know. I kind of feel like see some people, it's like, oh, I want to go back to the business. Like, why the fuck would you want to do that?
I'm confident I could go back to the 20s and I'd run that shit. I'd probably have a lot of fun.
I don't know. I don't want to go back to before air conditioning.
Depends on where you want to go. Yeah,
and
no
internet.
Air conditioning.
No
That'd
thanks.
Be the problem.
No thanks.
That'd be the problem.
I lived before the internet.
Yeah.
We didn't know any better. But now that we have it, I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't think I want to go back to a time before that. That would like suck a lot. Somebody said something I wanted to. DJ Maniac said Lovecraft wasn't a great writer to begin with. Yeah, that's true.
Who said that, Maniac?
He used a lot of adjectives.
Well, he was trying to be like the classic writers that he grew up with. He's trying to be like something out of fucking Dracula.
Well, he was real into who's that? He was real into like Lord Dunsany, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like so. Yeah.
He's trying to write books from 2 or 3 generations before his time. Yeah.
But one thing I was going to say was that this is an idle thought that I have every now and then. If I could go back in time and bring some famous person, like to the modern day, how do I think they would react? And I have thought about doing that with H.P. Lovecraft, but I don't think that would go very well. Other people that I've thought about, I was like, what if I went back in time and brought Charles Darwin to nowadays? He'd probably be cool. I feel like he would probably be cool. Like, everything I've read about him. Like, I've read a lot of his stuff, and he seems like he'd be like, oh, all right.
Well, when we say
H.P. Lovecraft, not so much. I kind of feel like he would just, like, stand there and be like, oh, my God.
When we're saying that Lovecraft was a great writer, we're not talking about the writing per se. We're talking about the ideas that he came up with.
His writing was very...
yeah, we're talking about the ideas.
It's very overwrought. It's very purple by today's standards.
Him motherfucker's wordy as shit.
But that's okay. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I like adjectives, too. He tended to use a lot of the same ones.
He used Eldridge a lot.
Squamous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so he used like a lot of the same adjectives, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't know. Like I said, I can only aspire to 100 years from now.
Yeah.
My fucking writing being remembered.
He's trying to sound like Bram Stoker, and he's trying to sound like fucking...
He said Bram Stoker. That's the porn version. That's the porn version.
Yeah, Bram Stoker. I'm fucking drunk.
Please tell me that there's a porn star called Bram Stoker
I will call myself Bram
that
Stoker.
dresses like a vampire.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. And
please tell me that exists. Yeah. If it doesn't, it should. If it doesn't, it should. Bram Stoker stars in.
This bitch covered. And he's trying.
No, I'm going off on a whole thing. I'm just like, oh my god, I just thought of like a whole like other tangent.
Yeah.
This is how my brain works. I just thought of like a whole other tangent of a subgenre of porn where you were doing like vampire porn and they all star Bram Stoker. And I'm trying to like think of like vampire themed like porn names. Like names of like porno movies.
It's talking about H.G. Wells was ahead of his time. Yeah, H.G. Wells was
H.G. Wells is another one I thought of. And I think that was mostly because of Time After Time. R.I.P. David Warner.
He wrote a bunch of stuff. That was good.
H.G. Wells, if you don't know, Time After Time, which came out in 1979, is about H.G. Wells, played by Malcolm McDowell, who comes to the future, in that case 1979, because that's when the movie was made. Yeah. And he plays H.G. Wells. I invented a time machine, but actually I did invent a time machine. It actually works. Jack the Ripper escapes to the future, or 1979, in the time machine, and then H.G. Wells has to get in the time machine and come to 1979 to stop Jack the Ripper from killing people. So that's how that movie goes. So H.G. Wells was another one that I thought about, and I think H.G. Wells would probably also be cool. I kind of feel like anybody that was a scientist or a sci-fi writer, they might have a few weeks of, like, be weirded out. Like, because, I mean, if, it's hard to, like, imagine how much progress has been made, like, in a very short time, unless you kind of, like, go back and think about it. So... But I do kind of feel like people that were scientists back in the day, people that were sci-fi writers back in the day, they're probably like better prepared if you brought them just like willing to say, hey, I'm coming back in a time machine. And it's like, hey, I'm going to take you to the future. Come on, let's go. And you get here to 2022. I think most of them, they would probably need a couple weeks to like acclimate, which is, fair enough. That's understandable. But I feel like most of them would probably be like... After a while, they'd be like, all right, I dig it. It's, this happened and that happened. Okay. And like, you'd have to catch them up on stuff. But I think they'd deal with it. Other people, I don't know. I kind of like feel about them. And like I said, I've thought about it mostly with like scientists and stuff because I'm into that kind of stuff. But H.P. Lovecraft, I did think about him. And I was just kind of like, what would happen? Maybe I should write a story about that. Has anybody wrote a story about that? Somebody going back in time and bringing H.P. Lovecraft to, like, the modern day. Like, would he flip out? He probably would flip out. I don't know. Like, after a while, he might chill out, though. Somebody might give him some weed, and he might... I don't know. He might eventually, like, fucking take the stick out his ass and, like... I don't know. I just figured... He just seemed very of his time, and he seemed very rigid. And it wasn't his fault, necessarily. I think it was kind of, like, just the... the culture, the way he was brought up. But I don't know, man. I kind of feel like it might take a while you might have to like get him super drunk or super high.
Who's that?
H.P. Lovecraft. For him to be super fun. Well, no, what I was saying was that I think that people that wrote sci-fi like H.G. Wells or people that were scientists like Charles Darwin, it would probably be like a lot easier to acclimate them
to
modern day than somebody else. Because they're already predisposed to think toward the future. You know what I mean? So maybe they wouldn't think it was like, oh, I already thought of something like that, and you have something like that now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the framework would be wider. So I kind of feel like that would maybe... I don't know. That's something that I, like, think about a lot. Charles Darwin, I don't know. For some reason, I just thought it would be really interesting to, like, bring Charles Darwin to the modern day. I don't know why I thought of that. I guess because I read a lot of his stuff. Yeah, and like I said, H.G. Wells was another one I thought of, but I think it was because of that movie, Time After Time, because that was about H.G. Wells, right? Even though it was Malcolm McDowell. Most writers that also happen to be...
We don't have that on Blu-ray, by the way.
We ought to.
I know. I can't understand why we don't have that.
God damn it, I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
I love that movie.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
I love that movie.
When's the last time we saw that movie?
I don't know. Well, I've seen it so many times that I have it memorized.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen it as many times as I've
Oh, man, I used to see that shit on HBO fucking all the goddamn time when it was fucking kind of new.
Yeah, because it was on every 5 fucking minutes. Well, and it wasn't just HBO. It was on all the pay channels. Like, if you're just like, oh, I'm on HBO, and hey, Time After Time is on, you'd click over to Cinemax. Oh, hey, Time After Time is on over here, too.
How long have you been streaming?
3 hours and 28 minutes.
Okay, it's about time.
Zach says, I keep thinking it'd be hilarious to take Henry VIII to modern day and see what happens. Well, I'm saying I'm going to cut off your head and your head and your head.
It depends on what time in his life. I mean, fucking.
I don't know how well.
Yeah.
Like I said, I kind of feel like
at the end of his life he was fucked up, but they say he was
that
awesome.
You can bring to this is why I think this question is interesting, because I think that people, like I said, sci-fi writers, scientists, stuff like that, they're already predisposed to think in terms of like progress or think ahead. They already are more open-minded, maybe. It's like they have a wider band, if you want to say that. They're not so narrow band. So I kind of feel like it'd be easier to acclimate them. They might be like freaked out and like, what the fuck? Oh my God, I didn't expect this to happen or that to happen or whatever. But they would get used to it quicker. People that were more into, like somebody that was maybe a monarch, that was very, kind of versed more in a hierarchical kind of situation.
Well, that's where the money's coming from.
Or something like that. Yeah, so I feel like maybe they might not acclimate as well. I don't know. Maybe they would. Well, it depends where you brought them to.
Earlier on in the show, we were fucking with each other about scientists and what scientists think. Don't elevate scientists. They're just regular people. I fucking lived in Somerville, Massachusetts, and would go down to fucking Harvard and fucking MIT all the time and hang out with the clubs, the people that went to MIT. Yeah, some of them are smart. A lot of them are smart. They're just people, though. You know what I mean? And they have
no one ever said they weren't.
They have all. Science is nothing more than a tool to try to find truth. But there's a lot of problems with fucking truth. Truth has a lot to do with fucking how you want to see things, and you can fucking fuck data up and screw things up to make any reality. Science is real close to philosophy, and philosophy's fucked up too. So, at an early age, I was skeptical of people fucking that called themselves scientists. Fucking, they were coming out of MIT, and we were in the same clubs with them, and they're dumb. Yeah, dumb. Dumb motherfuckers couldn't get laid. Nerds. Yeah, they can crunch numbers and they can come up with some shit, but I just never really saw that as anything. Yeah, there is truth. There is scientific truth. But a lot of times fucking corruption is involved with that. So,
are you sure that you're not just mad because they were smarter than you?
They're not that smart. They're not that smart.
So you say.
They weren't as smart as you think they are. Well, I'll take you down there if you want.
DJ Maniac says Bram Stoker's fuckula.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was like, it was right there. I can't believe I didn't get that. I can't believe I didn't get that.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't get that. I mean, I was trying to like think of like some more, I don't know. I was like trying to think of some more like fucking flowery sort of titles, and it's like, but fuckula was right there. I don't know why I didn't get that.
Smart to me is hard sciences and people that could actually make machines that work. To me, that's smart. But like I said,
in your opinion, it's the only one that matters.
A lot of them, well, I'm just saying, because they can make things that actually can prove themselves because they work. But there's a lot of people. Yeah, fuck it. Never mind. Jenny's locked into a theological concept.
Like no, that's not what it is.
People are people. People are people. Okay. The IQ is a fucking reality. But IQ...
Zach says we should do a show on Henry VIII.
Okay.
I agree. We probably should. I don't know why we haven't done one by now, but okay. I'm writing it down right now. See?
Yeah.
Mr. 88 says, I think many scientists would be irritated with how much has been discovered that we absolutely know but is denied because of some exterior reason. I agree. But, we're not going to get into that because... Tom knows everything.
No, it's not. Man, listen to her. That's not what I said.
Tom knows everything.
science is constantly or what is true is constantly changing. The science of today will be erased by the science of tomorrow. All right. But that's not necessarily.
It's not erased. It's built upon.
It's the same thing.
And sometimes it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. You don't completely erase things. You don't abandon things. You're like, look, they discovered this, and it's like for a while that worked and that was fine.
Yeah, but it turned out it wasn't true.
Well, no, that's not. It's like it turned out it was maybe like partially true, but it's like they didn't know this about it, so then we built upon that. So it's all like building upon stuff. It's not that we just like, oh, we're completely starting over from scratch, because you're not.
Right. Okay.
You're building upon stuff from
I think
the
it's
past.
corrupt. All right. There's a lot of corruption and money and sex involved. If you fucking pay a scientist, he'll say anything. If you fucking get him to fuck some underage girls and get him on video, he'll say anything. He just will. They're weak men. All right? I've seen them in action. They can't get laid in a club. They just can't. So you got to get them from the gangster way. And because the average person believes in what they say, you can use them as puppets to further your ability to gain riches. You're making money, gaining power.
But you can absolutely believe whatever Alex Jones says or whatever retard is on there says.
No, of course not.
Some motherfucker on YouTube says something. You can believe that.
Of course not.
You can believe that.
No, of course not. I don't believe that.
Sure you do.
No.
You do, though.
No.
Yeah, you do.
Where are you getting this?
Because that's all you do is sit there and watch YouTube.
I believe that there's a fucking World Economic Forum because I've seen what they said.
YouTube all day long.
I don't watch Alex Jones all day long. What are you talking about? But
you listen to Alex Jones all night though, on your headphones.
There's an entire jar of all the things of where he got right over time. He's a crazy motherfucker.
A jar this big.
No, it's big. There is a fucking jar filled with shit that he was right about. He's a crazy motherfucker.
Uh-huh.
I think he's hilarious. All right. But I think a lot of... Okay, look. I listen to a lot of scientific programs that have fucking a lot of scientists on there. And they're right about a lot of shit. But it's mostly about hard sciences, about fucking cosmology, stars, fucking shit that you can actually prove. Social sciences and fucking some earth science.
Yeah, but nobody's talking about that.
No, of course not.
Well, earth science is physical science.
Yeah, but you can fucking
social science and psychology, that's another thing. Well, they call that
that's what I'm talking about. What the fuck science do you think I'm talking about?
Why
were you talking about social sciences and shit like that?
No, you weren't talking about that.
But the thing is that earth science is fucking weak. No, of course
not. It's not, though.
No, there's been no changes.
It's not.
There's been not enough changes.
Yeah. Well, okay. You can think whatever you want.
Carbon dioxide.
You're not right, but
carbon dioxide is not
You're not
poison.
right, but okay.
No
one said that. No one said that.
Carbon dioxide is not poisonous.
Neither are you.
Carbon dioxide is not poisonous.
And yet you're lecturing me as though you know more than I do, and you don't. And you actually don't.
I don't care.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. I don't care. But carbon dioxide is not poisonous.
You don't care. You just believe what you want to believe.
Carbon dioxide is not poisonous.
And he'll just
all I gotta do is just look and say
the
coastlines haven't changed.
How do you know that?
Because they haven't.
How do you know that?
Because everything that the fucking Plymouth Rock's still there. All the buildings that were built are still there.
Yeah, that's not. It hasn't been that long.
It's okay.
Do you understand?
It doesn't have to be that long.
Do you understand how human timelines work as opposed to geological timelines, or no?
Yeah.
Do you not understand that?
Yeah, but I don't care.
Evidently, you don't understand
it. Yes, I do. Yeah.
But you don't care because
there's been no changes.
Because you already think you know everything.
I don't think there's been any changes.
Yeah, but you're wrong. But you obviously don't care about that. So he doesn't care that he's wrong.
No.
You don't care that you're wrong.
People will just move. If the coastlines change, people will just move.
They have been.
Like they always have been.
You know that, right?
They always have been. Of course.
Okay, no big deal.
Of course.
Tom doesn't care about anything, and Tom thinks he knows everything.
You're talking about tens of thousands of years. Or hundreds of thousands of years.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Of course you are.
No, you're not.
Of course you are.
No, you're not.
I'm just telling you. It won't matter. It won't matter.
He knows more than I do. That's that's
I just see what's real.
No, you don't. You really don't. But okay.
How would you know?
How would you know?
I know because fucking...
I know because I watched some YouTube videos.
No.
Is what Tom says.
What would be better? To go to a university? How would that be better?
Why is it better to watch random motherfuckers on YouTube?
I just look at those people and I go, oh no, I would never believe that motherfucker. I just look at them and go, no. I know a loser when I see one.
You are kind of an
idiot. And I just look at them.
You're kind of an idiot.
Yeah, no. I just look at them and go, oh, fuck no. I would never believe that, dude. You know, I know a loser when I see one. I just do.
Okay.
Yeah. When I see a little motherfucker like that, I'm like, no. Fuck no. Never. I would never believe a dude like that.
So Tom says someone who looks like a loser.
They are exactly as they appear.
Can't be right about it.
They are exactly as they appear.
Please stop yelling in my ear.
I'm just having fun. They are exactly as they appear. This is not fun.
You're being really.
You're trying to be
loud.
Okay, you're trying to be high-minded about it. No, you're going to be fool yourself that way. They are exactly as they appear. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
They are. Yep. That's how people are.
Tom knows everything.
Yes.
The end.
I know people. I know people very well.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You absolutely don't. But okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I can just look at him and go, oh, I know what I'm dealing with there. Yep.
Yeah. Again, Tom knows everything. The end. All right. So we.
I don't know everything. I just know people. I know a liar when I see one. I know a weak person when I see one. I know a strong person when I see one. I know a person that I can break. And I know when a motherfucker's just going through the motions, obeying what they were told to believe in. You know, I just know. I can just tell. It's instinct. It's instinct, and it's...
Okay.
People are what they look like, too.
Okay.
They're not some kind of elevated thing. And the thing is she thinks I'm anti-science. No, there are scientists that I fucking love. But there's a lot of them that I go, nah, that motherfucker's full of shit. You know, I could tell. I could tell the difference. I just can. Like, I love Avi Loeb. I love that dude. I think that's a real scientist. Because he's breaking the mold. He's telling people that, no, there are aliens out there. There has to be.
Well, no one's arguing about that. Everybody kind of
in his world. They are in the world that he came from. They're saying, oh, no.
Well, in the sense that, what proof do we have? No. I get that.
You don't need proof.
Just kind of,
you don't need proof that there's aliens. You don't.
You kind of do.
You don't.
You kind of do.
You don't need proof that there's aliens. It's fucking
You just have to feel it in your gut. That's how shit works.
It's common sense. It's common sense that there's aliens.
Common sense ain't common.
The numbers tell you that. And then fucking you look at Earth and you go, this isn't a fucking rare situation where Earth is. This is common. You know what I mean? There's lots of these. So, of course, when you're dealing with numbers this big, the life's everywhere. I think life is common. I think life is common.
Well, I do too, but the thing about it is that life being common in the universe...
I think it's common.
And... Hush. Okay, life being common in the universe and life having visited Earth are two completely different things. Two completely different things.
If it's common and you're dealing with deep time, then chances are that it comes here.
Maybe, but like I said, unless you have some real hard evidence of that, maybe they've been here. I wouldn't be like, my mind wouldn't be blown or anything like that. It's like, oh yeah, there they are. I'm not, like I said, I find alien stuff like UFOs and stuff like that boring, and I think a lot of it's fake. But, like I said, there's probably aliens out there someplace. Like I said,
I think there's lots of
them. Like I said, that's not crazy.
I think but
whether they've actually come here and probed people and all that kind of stuff, that's completely different.
People.
I'm just using that. I'm using that as an example of people that have seen UFOs and stuff like that. I think a lot of the sightings are because I think just because there are aliens in the universe, which there probably are. I mean, statistically, it's probably likely. Have they come here? Have they, shown themselves to us? That's another question. That one I'm still pretty doubtful about. There've been some compelling stuff about it, but it's show me something really compelling. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying they're not out there. They probably are. Have they been here? I don't know.
I think it's likely.
But like I said, that's not that's not crazy to me. That's not like a crazy fringe kind of thing.
Well, that's
you know what I mean?
That's mostly what I'm talking about. When you fucking talk about science, they're actually going to poo-poo shit that is
well, because there's not any evidence that they've been here. But like I said, them being out there, I don't think you're going to find many scientists that are like, yeah, they're probably out there someplace.
Look,
because it's a big place.
You're talking about evidence, all right? You can go out and murder a person and not leave any evidence that you did it, other than the fact that fucking there's a dead body. Evidence really doesn't mean much. That's a human concept. I'm just saying the likelihood. If you stay at home, you will never see a bear. But if you go out into the woods, you'll eventually see a bear. They're out there. All right, you'll see living creatures and bugs and shit. I'm telling you. The universe is filled with life. Because I don't think it's rare.
Yeah, nobody said it wasn't.
I don't think it's rare.
Nobody argued with you on that point.
I think there's a lot of species that travel in between stars.
Maybe they do. Like I said, that's not crazy.
And here's the deal: if that's a reality, which I think it is, then that means they're very old. That there's some of them are very old. So I think probably what the situation is that there are several in this galaxy, several civilizations that know about Earth and the fact that it has life on it. And they've known about it for thousands of years, and we're just a number in one of their damn catalogs, and they know about us, and maybe they send a probe, and maybe some probes come by every now and then, but they don't really care. This isn't really a big deal, because I think that this is probably common.
But see, this is why I think that science will back up, because science will say, yeah, statistically, it's probably very likely that there's life on other planets or in other galaxies, but if that's true, why the fuck would they come here? Why the fuck would they come here? I wouldn't come here if I was them.
Well, we would be one of many thousands.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just kind of like all of these. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't buy like a lot of these kind of like people that are like, oh, this UFO and that UFO and like we saw this and that. I don't buy any of that crap because why the fuck would they come here? I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying why the fuck would they come here?
There have been many.
They don't have any reason to.
There have been many reputable accounts from fucking military pilots that have been confirmed by radar that there were strange things, and I would think that they would be AI probes, just probes that have fucking flown around.
Bleardo Dude said, "This is what happens when Tom does not get one of his wigs." Yeah.
Man, you make me want to put a fucking wig out. Man, fuck y'all people.
I mean, it would have been more fun if you'd had a wig on. Why don't you do your wigs anymore?
I forgot.
You're getting like all too serious, and you're getting all well actually, and it's just kind of like you're not.
Well, what are you talking about?
You've been doing that most of the show.
Not at all.
And then like you don't like put your fun.
Not at all.
You know. Like I said, Friday night's supposed to be fun, man, and you're making it like you're making it like not fun.
You're not having fun?
I'm not.
I'm having fun.
Well, of course you are.
Yeah, it's almost time.
Because you get to yell at me and like tell me I'm stupid and wrong.
I'm not saying. This is how it is.
It is hat bald
I'm not fucking saying. I'm not
with
saying
your bald ass head.
I'm just bald ass head. I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm just.
I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm just saying I know more than you.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying.
This is how these bitches are.
That's exactly what
I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm just saying that you're blowing over a bunch of stuff. You're taking certain things. You're taking certain things for granted.
Am I though?
I think you are.
I don't
believe them. I don't fucking believe them.
Well, I don't believe you.
I don't respect them.
I don't believe you.
You know, I hung out with them.
You just yell and you just yell in my ear. And you listen to a bunch of YouTube channels where everybody yells. Everybody's yelling.
Listen to this bitch. I fucking hung out with those bitches when I was up in fucking up in.
That's called anecdotal evidence. You know that's the thing,
I don't respect
right?
them. I don't respect them.
That's the thing. I met a scientist once, and I didn't like that dude. So I don't trust any scientists. I met 5 scientists, and I don't like them because they were losers who couldn't get laid. So I don't believe anything they say. They're just like now, 30 years later.
They're just more college students.
That's what you said.
They're just more broke college students.
That's what you said.
You can get them to say anything.
That's what you said.
You can get them to say anything.
I mean, I kind of feel like you just want people to believe what you like already believe. You just kind of want.
I don't care.
You do though.
No,
you
really, I'm just saying, don't believe them. Because, no.
Why should anyone believe you, though?
Them.
Why should anyone believe you, though?
I wouldn't believe them.
I wouldn't believe you either.
You could fucking just pay them anything.
Why should anyone believe you, though?
I don't care if they do.
You don't have any reason for that? You don't have any evidence behind it?
Why would I? Why? No, I'm just know people. I know people real well, and I just...
He knows
I would
people.
be like, man, don't listen to those dudes.
Science! So anyway.
Oh, they'll fucking pull all this science shit out, but they're just fucking dudes that fucking jerk
Zach
off.
says, Tom, you in trouble tonight. He is.
I ain't worried about that. Zach, fuck you, Zach.
He doesn't care.
Zach was here to just suck dick. Suck some dick, Zach. Come over here. Zach, you need to hit me up, because fucking... Oh, never mind.
He needs somebody to suck his dick.
Come over and suck my dick, Zach. I know you...
He wants a boy to do it. He won't admit it.
I know y'all are fucking real good at sucking dick. Look, she's trying to get me to fucking act up in front of the
I told you
camera.
I'm meaner than you.
She's trying to get me to act up in front of the fucking camera. I don't worry about this bitch.
I told you I'm meaner
Look,
than
what
you.
time is it?
It is 9:44.
Okay. It's almost time to get off the fucking channel. I gotta make us something to eat. Aren't you hungry?
Not really, but yeah.
I'm
Oh,
fucking
well,
hungry.
a little bit.
I'm fucking hungry.
Zach says, Tom, keep talking and Jenny's not going to break out the strap-on tonight.
Nah, I ain't worried about
Man,
it.
I never
Ain't
get to
worried.
do the strap-on.
Jenny didn't have a strap on.
He's no fun.
Jenny doesn't even
He
have
won't
a
even
strap.
let me get a strap-on.
Listen, Jenny didn't have a fucking strap on. Fuck all this shit.
He won't let me do the pegging.
Bitches.
Bitches.
All you hoes trying to gang up on a motherfucker.
Oh.
Man, I've been drinking since today.
Whose fault is that, Thomas?
Y'all couldn't even be fucking standing after the amount of alcohol I drank. You couldn't even be standing. No.
We couldn't even be
Zach.
talking either.
Zach,
and
no.
you're not talking. You're just yelling. Mr. 88 said if she's trying to get you to act up, she's succeeding.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, it's very
I know
easy.
her.
I mean, it's easy to
I
get
know
him
her.
to act up.
I've been with her fucking over 10 years. This is how she does.
It's very easy to get him to act up.
I ain't worried about
He
it.
has triggers. He's very easily
I'm
triggered.
not worried about this shit.
He's very
She's
easily
trying to fuck with me.
Zach says, also, I've never had any complaints.
What?
Blair Dude
Zach,
says...
man. Zach, let me tell you something. You were on this show tonight, and that bitch right there fell over. And nobody said anything about it. And I don't know how.
You said something about it.
I don't understand how that shit fell over.
Why you poltergeisting my shit over? Quit breaking my shit.
I don't know how that fell
You
over.
already made my fucking poster fall off the wall, and I had to put another screw in the wall.
I had to do that fucking Darth Vader shit where I fucking choke your ass without even touching you on fucking camera. Then what would happen? Like,
See, this is what I keep worrying about.
Nah,
You're gonna throw a brick in my head or some shit like that.
Nah, it ain't gonna hurt you. It's not gonna hurt you. Zach,
I will kick your ass,
you need to
motherfucker.
get these women under control. Where's...
Yeah, you got poltergeist powers, but I got suppressed rage powers.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Ain't worried about it.
Mr. 88 says, I've been drinking since an hour from now. Blair Dude said, when is a listener story submission show happening? Holy shit, we haven't done one of those in a long time. Do you remember that we
Last
did...
time we did that shit, it lasted 4 hours, and Jenny's like, I can't tell this fucking story anymore. Fucking remember that shit?
Well, after a time, I was drinking, I was just and then I had to read, and I was just
You're
oh
this
my
is a
god,
whole fucking book.
everything's blurry.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I didn't have time to read everybody's story prior because I had a lot of other stuff going on, so I was
remember when it happened,
yeah, everybody's sending the stories. I'm okay, cool, and I just put them all. I compiled them all. I'm gonna read these for the show, and then I was oh my god, this one's so long, and then I was oh my god, I can't read this anymore. But yeah, we should probably maybe we should do that for Halloween. I feel like we did
Well, it was
Halloween.
We did that last time. That shit lasted for 6 hours, 7, 8 hours.
Well, okay. What I'll do this time, I'll have some parameters. If you're gonna send some shit,
it can't be long.
Let's not have it be fucking 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Don't send me a novel for Christ's sake. My voice will give out.
Right.
But if you have a short anecdote or story or something like that, I don't know. Maybe we'll think about it. Don't do it right now, but I don't know. Maybe we'll do that for the Halloween show this year. What day is Halloween on this year? Anybody know?
I don't know. Halloween's always the same day every year, isn't it?
it's the same day every year, but it's not the same day of the week every year.
No, I don't know.
Obviously.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like, I don't know if it's on a weekday or a weekend, so I don't really know if it's going to fall on a showtime. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Get Shauna on.
Shauna's long gone.
We saw her the other day.
Saw her the other day. She's being a bitch.
She's not. You made her mad because you did something that I don't know.
It didn't really happen. She's just
Well, I don't know what it was because she said that, well, you were drunk and I wasn't there, so I don't know if you did something that, like, offended her.
No.
Because I don't know, it made her really mad because she's not talking to you and she's not talking to me.
No.
So.
We didn't make her mad.
I don't know what you did. I wasn't there.
Fuck Shauna.
I wasn't there. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
She's making that up.
Although you were drunk, you might have just done something you didn't remember.
No.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Fuck Shauna.
Zach says, yes, it was my erotic powers making the walls quiver like many gentlemen's loins in my time, a cock connoisseur. A cock connoisseur.
He's a cock connoisseur. Making the walls quiver like the walls of that rectum. Just fucking like that, making it like that.
Danny Rowling said, Halloween's a Monday.
Shit, man.
Monday. I don't know. Maybe we could do like a special, we could do like a matinee show, but like a Halloween matinee show. But that's a haunting day.
Yeah.
From now on. I don't know. So maybe we'll do like a special, I don't know. We'll see what we do. Fucking Monday. God damn it. That sucks. All right. Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right. So it's almost like 10 o'clock. We're going to go in like 4 hours.
Yeah. We want something to eat?
Well, what do you got?
I don't know. I'll find us a snack or something.
Because I'm not that hungry.
You're not that hungry? Okay.
But just like something small would be good.
I can do that.
Something small, veggie based.
Okay.
Not super.
I got more baba ganoush down there.
I mean, that would be good.
Okay.
That'd be good. That'd be fine.
All
right. So we'll be back on Sunday. I think probably we'll be talking about the Gwar documentary because that's all we've watched lately. And we probably won't watch anything tonight, and I don't know if we're going out tomorrow night, so we might not be able to watch anything tomorrow night. So
shit, that's kind of Aslan was in there asking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And you were all mean.
I didn't know that. Oh shit.
I don't even know what happened.
Jeffrey's what's that?
Thank you, Jeffy Art. Thank you. Just got back from work. Hey. Oh my God. It's been like 4 hours.
Damn.
So much you missed.
Okay.
You mentioned running out of Christmas material. Maybe do the submissions show then. Yeah, that might be a good thing to do. I don't know. I mean, there's still like some Christmas horror movies out there we could cover, but get some shrimp and peas, Jenny. Jeffy Art says sorry, work. That's okay. I mean, we've been on for 4 hours. We got into like 2 fights. It's like not physical fights.
Not
but
fights.
Like argument.
They weren't fights. They weren't fights.
Everybody likes that though.
They love this shit.
Everybody likes that shit.
Yeah, fight.
Even though I'm just kind of like, Jesus Christ, can we please just have like a good time? It's just kind of like, you know when you go to like Thanksgiving dinner and you have that one uncle that nobody wants to like, that just like yaps about like politics and religion the whole time, and you're just like, oh my God, I wish this dude would shut up so I could like fucking just eat some turkey in peace.
Don't listen to her.
It's like that. But it's like, so it's not a physical fight, but it's like that.
I'm just not an NPC about the shit, you know what I mean? Fucking, I have my own questions.
Oh my God. Why are you using that terminology?
I'm just, because that's how I'm going. That's how I'm coming. I don't fucking believe what they tell me. I'm very defiant, and
you're not though. It's
I'm
like
very defiant.
the only people that use that terminology are people that are like in this little weird like alt-right bubble. Nobody uses that terminology other than that.
I do what I want to do.
I'm just saying, and it just seems so to us. It seems like you're just parroting like the same terms because everybody uses the same terms.
It's like you're parroting, so I don't care. I don't care.
Mr. 88 said that one uncle, dead on. Yeah, we all have that one. Well, I have more than one, but, you know, I know what you're talking about.
Her whole family would agree with me. Okay.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they would.
No, they wouldn't. You don't know my family. How many times have you met my family? You met my family like one time.
Your whole family would agree with me.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
I don't care what you think.
Yeah, I know you don't.
I just do what I want to do.
I know you don't. I do what I want. I do what I want. Like a toddler.
Yeah. No.
Like a toddler does what they want.
I just do what I want. I don't give a shit.
I do what I want. He doesn't give a shit. Sarah says Tom working Jenny up till she finally tells him to shut it is the best part of the show.
I ain't worried about that. I am not worried about this. I don't care. I'm just doing what I want.
Well, if you didn't care, you wouldn't go on so much about it.
No, it's all fun and games. I think it's just fucking
You're protesting too much, like
No,
Shakespeare said.
All right, I'm going.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
I'm going.
I don't care.
I'm going. I don't give a shit.
It's the Anavar.
I'm going.
No, he was like that before.
No, it was like that before.
That just made it worse.
Yeah, and I'm not on it. No, I'm not on it.
That just made it worse.
Anavar's girl.
It just amplified. It just amplified.
Anavar's girl steroids. I'm not on this shit.
I don't want those girl steroids.
That's girl steroids.
Oh my god, nobody wants to be like girl. No. Girls are the worst.
No, I was just saying that's girl steroids.
Ew, girls aren't allowed in our clubhouse.
That doesn't do anything to me. Hold on, people ask you if I'm going to mannequins.
I mean, you know, not tonight.
No. Yeah.
I mean, we might get a Barbarella tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to get a Barbarella on a Saturday.
Okay.
Because last time we went to Barbarella on Saturday, that was like super fun. Although we got there really late because
Ryan.
We got there super late. Oh shit.
That was Ryan. Okay, we're going.
Oh my god, I haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah, the bartender from fucking.
Oh, I thought you meant like Ryan. I thought you meant other Ryan.
No, we're going to. We may be going to fucking Barbarella's
tomorrow.
Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant other Ryan.
No, we're talking about the doorman.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know his name was Ryan too.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant other Ryan. We know like 3 people named Ryan. I didn't know which one was going on. Yeah, tell me. I mean, you know, we might go tomorrow. But the thing about it is, like, we hadn't been to Barbarella because, like I said, I talked about like the new location, which I was ambivalent about, but I'm kind of like warming up to it.
They're trying to get us to go out tonight.
God damn it! It's already like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that nonsense.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well.
I would rather have a day like to relax and get ready, and
y'all
it's
got her fucking wired up. See, you got her fucking.
Bitch, I'm always wired up.
Okay.
What are you talking about? They didn't get me wired up.
Okay, I gotta go.
Jeffy Art did. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
I already brought that up.
All right.
Did you miss it or?
I'm going.
Okay. Bye.
See, she keeps fucking with me, so I gotta go.
Does Barbarella's have an orgasm machine?
Shut that shit down. Go ahead and shut that shit down. Dude.
It doesn't, but it should. Ooh, you know what? We should bring that up because if he wants to get into the whole experience, I mean, okay. So the thing about it, back in the old days, I mean, because the shit was open. It used to be in downtown Orlando, and it was called Barbarella, obviously named after the movie. But yeah, so they didn't really lean into the theme all that much. So it's been in downtown Orlando for like forever, and then recently they moved to another like a warehousey location, and they're not like leaning into the theme as much. They were called Independent Bar for a very long time, which is what I always still call it because that's kind of what I knew it as. So they went back to the old name though, and maybe they should like lean more into that, make it more like a Barbarella, like the movie. They should have an orgasmatron. They should have like the whole 60s kind of vibe. But like it's, you know, they do like, it's an alternative club, but they do like 80s stuff mostly. It's like 80s new wave, and then they do like goth industrial kind of night too. But I don't know. We might go tomorrow night. We'll see how it goes if I'm not still mad at him. I still want to shut that shit down t-shirt. You know, I should probably make that. I forgot, but amid the many other things. Shut that shit down. I'll make one. Eventually. I don't know how long it'll take, but I will get around to it. I'm going to watch Legend and the Werewolf is the Vampire Woman. Okay, you have fun with that. Wait, Legend, the one with like Tom Cruise and Mia Sara and Tim Curry? Because that's a good one. Although it wasn't like, other than the stuff with, you know, the devil and all of that, I don't know. I kind of feel like Tom Cruise is a little bit miscast in that, but other than that, I really liked it. But that's awesome. All right. So we will see you guys on Sunday. Probably be talking about the Gwar documentary. It's just called This Is Gwar. If you have a Shudder, you can watch it. It's like I said, it's 2.5 hours long, but it flew by. I thought it was like fascinating. If you're into Gwar, I mean, if you're not, it'd probably be like really boring, but you know what I mean. So yeah, it was fun. So we'll probably be talking about that on Sunday, and hopefully you guys have a good weekend up until then. And we'll see you guys again on Sunday evening. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for all your super chats. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.